Okay, we're live. Apologies for the delays here. One of my studio lights went out and had to reconfigure OBS here. So good to see everyone. Apologies for that late start. So yeah, we can hang out, we can chat today, and we'll be playing. I've never played the Homebrew games on stream. I think. Hey, good to see you. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun if we hung out and we played the Homebrew games. We'll be playing Battle Fever, which I'm very excited about. I can talk about the game and discuss what's coming up with Battle Fever, and I can tell you more about the mini game Pokemon on the Pokemon Mini. Silver Falls Monsters in North Island. I'm so excited to be able to launch that. That was my first Kickstarter, and I didn't ask for much because I really just needed help getting the hardware, and then just covering time for developing that. But the reason why Mini took so long is because I was trying to learn assembly. I was developing that, and all of the environments and the work that I was looking at was in assembly, and honestly, my brain could not handle it because I work so much in C-based languages. I've worked in Java, JavaScript, all the different Cs, and I couldn't. There wasn't enough documentation for me to reverse engineer assembly on the Pokemon Mini, so I got stuck for like a year before I found a solution to develop in C. So good to see you, everyone. Good to see you guys. Barry, Elkin Fencer, 7th Gen Real. Good to see you. Hey, that Don Parker, good to see you. So this is our PSP game. I'm pretty excited about it. Please let me know if the audio is ever too loud at any point or anything like that. So, with Battle Fever, it was a way to make homebrew games and not have to be tied down to producing a full title that had code linker content, because every main Silver Falls line, every mainline Silver Falls game has code linker data, and that takes so much planning. That takes years of planning and forethought, and it was stopping me from doing more homebrew with Silver Falls. So Battle Fever is going to be a spin-off series for homebrew consoles, where I can put it on different consoles and it can cross over with different games. So this one is Galaxy Bound Curse themed, but we can have a look at other Silver Falls titles. It's supposed to play the music. So the weakness here is for PSP, there's just going to be some glitches that I don't necessarily have control over because of the way it's developed. I think, is the camera aimed too high? I think it was aimed too high. I was doing a recording rail standing before. Okay. So, yeah, there's going to be glitches that I don't really have control over for the PSP stuff that I make, so I'm just going to do the best that I can. This is supposed to be playing music from all the different games that we're seeing here, but that's okay if that's missing there. It's not a big deal. I noticed there's one song that doesn't play during battle, and there is, let's see, there's like a couple sound effects that don't play. So originally I wanted way more characters, and as usually is with Silver Falls games, I usually have it to where the characters, every time you visit an area, they say something different. They have different lines of dialogue that they can say. I was going to have that, but I ran out of time. I just wanted to launch this and get this out there so people could play. But the fact is that I was able to create a framework to run this sort of adventure game and an action game, and I'm very excited to be able to make a game like this for the PSP, and I'm going to keep expanding on it. I can reuse this framework for more games for the PSP that could be in this playstyle, so I'm very excited about it. It's using the graphics from the Game Boy Color game because it's sort of a crossover spin-off. It's Galaxy Bound Curse, Battle Fever. So Battle Fever, I think, is a name that sounds like it would have come from a Japanese developer. Well, there's a Super Sentai series called Battle Fever J. I love the way they say it. It's Batoru Fever J. And it's so cool. I'm a huge Super Sentai fan. I really enjoy watching that. So I didn't necessarily name this after the copying the name of the Super Sentai team. It's just coincidental that they both have Battle Fever in there. You're not very toasty yet. What? It's March. So it's still cold? Is it still cold there in that part of the States? Also, do you like Kamen Rider? See, unfortunately, I've never had the opportunity to watch much of Kamen Rider, but I have watched the spin-off, not the spin-off, the crossover episodes. You know, Kamen Rider normally does crossovers with Super Sentai, and I always enjoy those. I just love the bombastic action and the fun of, Kamen Rider is in the same spirit of the Super Sentai stuff, and I enjoy watching that stuff, but I haven't been able to watch anything that's been subtitled. I haven't been able to watch it in a long time because I'm so busy with my work. And lately I've been working more than 130 hours a week. It's kind of why I started late today, is I've been pushing things a little too far in terms of work. Running the Kickstarter, I'm trying to do work on Breath of Thunder. There's some people that are sort of complaining that, oh, we don't even see anything of this game. It's, this isn't even a real game. There's barely anything that you've shown of it. Well, it's very time consuming to develop an RPG, and if you're not funded for it, it's very difficult. I have to spend my time making my commercial games, and so I'm making my commercial games right now. I have 2 that I'm finishing. I have Sweet Abominations and Gorgeous Sword Long Hard Justice, so I'm finishing those. I hope to have them finished. I only need 1 more week of development on each one, and they'll be ready to launch. And I'm also doing work on Breath of Thunder because people are demanding to see more. And then I'm running the Kickstarter stuff. I'm doing the Homebrew stuff because it's fun. It's fun to do the Homebrew stuff, but right now that's really my only way to market the Silver Falls series. Unfortunately, I'm at a point where, you reach out to content creators and whatnot, and I largely get ignored, which is really frustrating. And I suspect that's just true with anyone that isn't like a huge, there's saying the independent, range of developers. It's not one blanket statement that covers everything, because you have developers that have huge funding, independent developers, but they have huge funding and they have this huge reputation. They're on a different level than other smaller developers who don't have that kind of huge funding, who haven't had huge exposure. And if you are a small independent developer, you're just going to get ignored. That's the response that I've gotten from basically every content creator, except like John Hancock was when the 3DS and Wii U were ending, and he was sharing Undertakers. So I'm in a very difficult position right now. So I'm not sure. This is just the emulator, because I know on hardware the game doesn't look like this. So I'm playing the game using my Dreamcast controller. I needed to do more balancing. So I'm actually going to put the that's doubled up. Uh-oh. Okay, this weapon drop sucks. So I'm going to put, you pick up the animal traps, right? Oh, I got 2 guns now. Okay, gotta get back to the fire. Let's see. Oh, no, I gotta grab that stick. Okay, I missed the stick that time. This is a bad run. Okay, so, it looks better on hardware. It runs better on hardware. Yes, die by the fire! I needed the stick. I should have grabbed the stick. I already lost what I'm trying to say. This is why I don't play action-heavy games when I'm streaming, because you end up doing really poorly if you're busy talking to people. And I'm over here trying to read the text. Hey Jason, how's it going? Jason, if you need help setting up an emulator, head to the Discord. Just ask around, people will help you set up a PSP emulator. You can get it for your phone, you can get it for the PC. I don't want you to miss out on this one. And it's really fun when you can pay attention to what you're doing. I've had a bad run because I started out trying to talk. That's a bad score. Mastercar77, how's it going? Your pixel art is looking good. Yeah, it's going as well as can be. Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you like the pixel art. These graphics are taken. I had to take these directly from GB Studio because I wanted them colorized exactly like the Game Boy games. So I have to work hard on the homebrew titles. So they're my form of advertising and marketing because they let people know about the series. If I launch, here's the problem that I'm running into. When I launch a new Silver Falls game, at minimum it could take like 6 or 7 months, 8 months, a year and a half to develop these games, and I launch them, and content creators don't want to talk about it. It's really frustrating. But every other small developer is in that same position. And what are you supposed to do? You've spent 9 months of your life developing a game to the very best of your ability, and now you can barely make any money out of it because content creators don't want to talk about it. And it's difficult. It's just a difficult part of the industry, and we don't really have a good answer for it. I often reach out to people that specifically cover, they call them indie games, and I don't want to call my games indie games. I just want to call them video games. That's what they are to me. I'm not setting out to make it an indie game. I'm setting out to make a video game. And it's frustrating when I go to specialty, like I've gone to people that specialize in certain genres, like, people that specialize in RPGs or specialize in horror games. I go to websites that specialize in horror games and survival horror, and I'm discovering this weird sense of elitism. Like, oh, you're not, like popular on Steam. You don't have this high player count on Steam, so we're not gonna cover your game. It's so difficult, and I still don't know what to do about that. And I'm not sure if that's something that we'll have to sort of bring to light and address as an industry, but I'm really worried about the upcoming generation of new independent developers who are going to have a much harder time getting people to cover their games, because I'm seeing that openness towards covering these smaller independent titles. It's closing more and more, and it's difficult to get anyone to look at the games. Like, yeah, like I said, like I've never gotten a single horror website to cover my games because there is this, it's a bizarre sense of elitism, and I'm not sure where it comes from. But they'll only cover games that, like, say for example, if Matt, Pat, and Markiplier are covering those games, then websites will cover those games. And I've made like 9, 10, including the homebrew games, like 12, 13, 14 Silver Falls games, all focused on horror, and not a single horror website will cover a single one of my games. I've never gotten a single website to cover my games. I don't understand why. It probably because Markiplier and MatPat haven't even looked at my games, which means that these horror websites aren't interested. And that's just a part of the industry we're going to have to live with. And so you find a way forward. So right now, this is the only path that I have forward in terms of spreading awareness about my game and getting people to find out about my games, is to create these homebrew titles. But that means that I have to now spend my time. It's this weird, funny, bizarre Sisyphean nightmare that in order to get people to find out about my games, I have to make more games. And it's sort of this existential crisis that is constantly at the back of my mind, that I cannot get people to find out about my games or talk about my games unless I make more video games that are different. So that's kind of where I am, and that's why I've been working more than 130 hours a week. To be honest, guys, I'm getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep every night. And that's because, like right now, honestly, like the Switch games are not financially stable, and that's because I just cannot get content creators to talk about my games. Websites like Nintendo Life and those other websites covered Guardians and Metal Exterminators when it launched, and I'm so grateful for that. It was incredible to have that coverage. But people see that article once, and then that's basically coverage for basically one day. That's a short news cycle. We have a 24-hour news cycle, and it's really content creators that they need to play the games. But it's at a point where it's like, unless you're sending that content creator free stuff, like here's some free cartridges, here's some free swag, they're not going to pay attention to you, because why would they pay attention to you when there's people that are sending these content creators cool free stuff? And so if you're not doing that, they're not going to pay attention to you. It's so difficult. It's so frustrating. I died. Oh, man, I better catch up with the chat here. I've just been this sort of... I'm trying to not to die. So in terms of Galaxy Bound Curse, I have to remake the game in the newest version of GB Studio. I use GB Studio 2. It's quite glitchy, like say for example, you're facing one direction and you use an attack and then it sometimes comes out in another direction. I was using, GB Studio 2 is still, a bit beta in terms of, they said they were fixing things up. I just wanted to get the game rolled out. So I have to remake Galaxy Bound Curse with GB Studio 3, and it's a significantly more mature version of the engine. Have you ever tried to talk with some publishers like Devolver or TinyBuild? So I'm my own publisher, and I won't go through other publishers because they'll take control of your product. And I'm not going to be controlled. I won't let anyone control my products, what I make, how I distribute them. I'm not going to let someone take control of that, take control out of my hands, and take control of Silver Falls. So I won't be going through any other publisher. Hey, Obsidian Contraption, good to see you. Yeah, and unfortunately, Jason, like you said, like I've heard back from people that said, I sent them, hey, would be interested in mentioning my Kickstarter to the audience, and then they, outright just said no because I've been burned by bad Kickstarters in the past. They recommended it to their audience, and the project ended up, totally failing. And I totally understand that, because if you tell your audience to believe in something like, a Kickstarter, and then you get burned and your audience gets burned, it's bad for you. So I understand that people aren't covering my game and aren't sharing the Kickstarter, but that's frustrating because that means that it's very difficult to get people to talk about my Kickstarter, and it's not because my product is potentially bad. It's not because that I'm not capable of doing it. It's because people have been burned in the past by bad fake products or incompetent projects on Kickstarter. And that's just frustrating, because it means less and less Kickstarter will be a viable option for people. Oh yeah, Elkin Fencer, thanks for covering all the games. That's so cool that you're covering that. It's so great to have someone covering the games and creating videos on it. When you started training a few weeks ago, your number one priority was making a review video for all of Jarrell's games. Oh, how cool! I really appreciate that. These Neat talked about the amount of work that goes into such games is clear. It's frustrating because I put all of this time and effort into the Silver Falls games, and I try to do things that would make people really excited, and stuff that takes an immense amount of effort, and it's going unnoticed. And so I've been working on games that I can produce in a very short amount of time. Sweet Abominations and Gorgeous Longsword. They're games that take significantly less effort, and they're designed with mainstream appeal. And I know they're going to sell better. I know they'll sell better than Silver Falls games. And it's frustrating because Gorgeous Sword, Long Hard Justice, and Sweet Abominations are going to be, they're not going to be as good as Silver Falls games. They're going to be different. They're going to be fun in their own way. But in terms of, their ambition and what they set out to do and the amount of time that I spent on them, it's way worse. And I know they'll sell more because it has mass appeal. And you're just going to have to balance that. That's the world, man, is you want to do what you're passionate about and what you believe in, but you're going to have to balance that with mass appeal as well. And so I'm never going to introduce that element of mass appeal to Silver Falls, and that's why I'm making other IP. The fire is good. The fire is good. I need the axe, man. The axe hasn't spawned once for me. Also, I put, I just wanted people to vibe to the music in this, so I put music from the other Silver Falls titles in here. This is unique. So here's a funny glitch. The axe actually has the frame data for the stick. The axe is very fast. The axe is good. The axe is my father. It's so fast. That's supposed to be the frame data for the stick. The axe is supposed to be a little slower. So in this build, it's like the axe is way too fast in this first version. Why don't you stream more often? It is really cool to know more about your game ideas and working process. Yeah, I was streaming once a week. That's a good you say that. But this past, I would say the past month, I've been working more than 130 hours a week, and I needed those hours. And I was working full bore. I was creating Sweet Abominations, Gorgeous Sword, Long Hard Justice, and when I'm working at full speed, I can't do a live stream. It's it's a grueling, brutal pace. It's jarring to me. I'm telling people about my Kickstarter, and hey, I'm gonna make Breath of Thunder for so many consoles. It's actually like a punch in the face. It's jarring to me for people to say that's impossible. You know, like, oh, no developer could do that. You can't do that. That's impossible. It's so jarring to me because I've spent the past few years of my life working at this grueling pace where I've been making games in an impossible amount of time, and showing people. I just want to show people, like, hey man, if you really set out to be great at something, you can be great at it. You can do it. And you know, I have so much fun hanging out with the Silver Falls community. I really love making these homebrew games for you guys because I can go off the wall a little bit, and I can share these games with you very fast. And I get to hear from you guys, and that's fun. And so to suddenly hear from people that are telling me, like, you can't make that game on that console, you can't do all of that, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so used to hearing from people that already know that I can do this stuff because I've already proven that I can make games like this. I've proven I can put them on old consoles. I've proven that if I say I'm going to put an old game on an old console, I've proven if I said that I'm going to do a game, you know, in this kind of time frame, I've proven I'm going to do it, you know. And so it's been really funny the past couple days. It's been really jarring here seeing all these people saying no developer can do that, and it's like, well, clearly you've never seen me. You've never heard of the final games that launched on the Wii U. It's like 6 or 7 games, well, like 6 and then a port, you know. 6 games and a port that I did in 10 months. And they're all full-sized games. So just kind of funny that people are saying, it took me 6 years to make a little game on this thing. You can't do that, you know. And it's like, it may have taken you 6 years to make yeah, people are saying it took me 6 whole years even just to make a small game. And it's like, well, you're not me. No offense. But we're not the same people, so I don't know why you're judging someone else's ability to develop games based on what you've done in the past. And on top of that, I'm not a hobbyist. I'm a professional game developer. So, well, it does prove you can deliver these game platforms in terms of Breath of Thunder at least. Hey, Rashad Z, it's so good to see you. There's tons of indie games on the Switch. It is a very oversaturated market at this point because of how well the console sold. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just the truth of it. Is the Switch is an incredible console. It's amazing, but there are so many small, you know, studio games that are out there, and unfortunately, the Switch is flooded with trashware, and that makes it very tough to be found organically on the eShop. So that's a shame. I hope Devolver comes to you with a $3 million check asking for Breath of Thunder and contract that says Mr. Sungran retains full control. Look, honestly, Breath of Thunder, if some publisher wanted to help with funding, then absolutely I would do it. Because with Breath of Thunder, the idea is to get the game out there. I want to get the game out there. I want as many people to enjoy it in as many different ways as possible. So if a publisher said, hey, we'll you know, collaborate with Breath of Thunder, yeah, absolutely. You know, Breath of Thunder to me, it's not like Silver Falls, where Silver Falls is something where I have this universal size. The size that I have, the vision that I have for Silver Falls is universal size. It's beyond world size. It's beyond galaxy size. It's universal size. And I cannot risk anything corrupting or influencing or taking control of the vision that I have for Silver Falls. I know that people like Silver Falls because it is something very specific. And that something very specific exists because I have full control over the series. These snakes are so fast. So okay, so originally in the launch I wanted mechanics. So what happens is when you return to town, this music's from Undertakers on the Wii U. It might be one of the more obscure soundtracks. Come on. I need the fire. I need the fire. Okay, guys. I'm not bad at this game. Remember my capture card has input delay. Remember, so I'm not bad at this game. I lost my train of thought. I haven't even started drinking my coffee. Guys, I've got to get some coffee in me, honestly. Like, I've been working more than 130 hours a week for the past month. I've had very little sleep, and I haven't even started my coffee yet. So, I'm not bad at my own game. Okay, so I was saying, so one of the important features that's coming in an update to this is temporary stat buffs. So what happens is when you return to town, when you talk to the characters in town, your friends will offer to buy you a drink, and then you get to pick which drink they buy you. So the different drinks that you get boost your stats differently. You be able to boost your attack speed, your movement speed, and your power. And when you drink, and that boosts your stats, that fills up your bladder. So when your bladder fills up, you have to pee. And then when you pee, you lose all of your stat buffs that are temporary. And then they reset. So you have to start another match, and then you have to start another cycle where you play another match, you come back to town, you get another stat buff with the drinks as well. I'd do such if I actually had any confidence and skills to do such. I've been wanting to make a first-person shooter since about 2018 and just never got a hold of enough hardware or learned skills to do so. 7th Gen, you can use Unity right now, and you don't need much learning or skill. As you've seen from so many Kickstarters with people who have no experience and no, prior ability to make a game, you can load up Unity right now. You can get free templates and tutorials from the Unity Asset Store and other places that will be a full FPS example, and you can make small modifications, and you can make your own first-person shooter. You don't even need to make your own graphical assets or music or sound effects. You can get them all. So many things are free on the Unity Asset Store. You can make your own first-person shooter right now, and the only thing that's stopping you is not knowing that you can do that. You can do it right now. So many people on Kickstarter have done their whole thing by, doing an asset flip and taking all that. So you can make your own first-person shooter right now. Envy, hey, good to see you. Question, you said that the minigame is like a Tamagotchi. Does it use RTC? What's RTC? Let's play that now. Let's go ahead. We'll set this aside. Let me grab Mini. Oh, what if I set up the controls for both of them to be the same and I play both games simultaneously? Okay, I need to figure out how to configure the controls here. So let me configure the controls. I don't know how to configure the controls. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be using a different emulator that has controller support for this. RTC from host. What's RTC? What does that stand for? Platform. Oh, we'll put it in zoom times 6. I might have to play this with a keyboard. Define joystick. There we go. Okay, let's see. Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, let's see. Button. Oh, I see. I don't push the button on the keyboard, on the joystick. It's sort of defined in here. Okay, so I'm just gonna. I guess I'll run it and see if it works. It's a lot of buttons. How high does it go? How many buttons? Can you just go back to 1 now? Okay, yeah, alright. Enable joystick. Yes. Apply changes. Great. Okay, so it looks like I'll be playing... yo, what up, fam? Welcome to my Twitch stream. I'll be playing... Battle Fever and I'll be playing Battle Fever and Monsters in North Island at the same time. Okay. Let's see. I gotta figure out how to... Let me copy and pasta my ramen here real quick. Monsters in North Island. Guys, what do you think of the box art for Monsters in North Island? I'm worried that it's not cursed enough. What I was close to doing, I was going to take a picture of myself and I was going to Photoshop my hair to be green, and then I was going to do like a thing, like the Game Boy Advance game. What's that game called? The one, you guys know the box art I'm talking about, right? I put myself in I was putting myself in like a 2002, 2003 mindset. And so I was making the box art, and so I was giving it like this cel-shaded, cartoony look, which is kind of like, it goes against the Silver Falls Bible, to display these in, like in that sort of way. But I thought it was a very, very early 2000s look. Sort of with the cel shaded, and it was really highly saturated and really cartoony looking. Sorry, the guy on the left's making me laugh. I'm looking at his gaping hole, and it's making me laugh. And I was like, okay, so I put myself in the early 2000s mindset, and I really, it's like a method actor. I sort of thought, if someone was making a box art in the early 2000s, what would have been their thought process? What would they have done? And I feel like they would have been really crunched for time, and they would have been like, I just got to use a bunch of gradients and lens flares, because gradients and lens flares will fill in the empty space. And then I thought, clip art is big, so I used like a clip art island, and then I like applied a bit of painting over it to try and like make it look like, a Photoshop filter. And then I was like, okay, so I've got monsters in there, and I've got some empty space in the middle. I've got dead space in there. What am I supposed to do? What's big right now? Kids love Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk's really big right now. So I put a skateboard in the box art. And there's no skateboarding. Obviously, there's no skateboarding. But that's my process, is I pick an era, I pick a specific year, and I sort of like mentally time travel, and I kind of think, what, if someone was making this back then, what would they have been thinking? And that's what I ended up with. And unfortunately, I don't think it's cursed enough. And I think I should have put myself in there, photoshopped my hair green, and gone like a, Hey, Ramesses, hey, good to see you. Hello to Brazil. Hello from Australia. Oh, sorry, I was going to copy and paste this ramen here so I can load it in. Okay. Copy, and let's see. I pasta this in here, right? Okay. What's the OK button? Okay. Come on. Hold on. Wow, this text is microscopic. Okay, I'll be playing both games simultaneously. Okay. Have you ever thought about launching a homebrew for Atari 2600, 7800? Yes, actually, I have been working on homebrew for that. I've been working on bringing Undertakers Game B. I'm working on bringing that to the 2600. I think that would just be fun. Game A uses a lot of text, and there's way too much data in Game A, so there's no way I could bring that to the 2600. But I can make Game B. Obsidian Contraction, you think it's very ambitious yet respectable to port to so many platforms. It is ambitious, and you know what? If you do not have ambition, then where will you go? Where will you go with your life if you do not have ambition? So, it is important to shoot for the stars. Working so many hours, how many meals do you have a day? I have 3 meals a day, and unfortunately I eat while I'm working to save time. So, that's sad. Very sad. I sort of mentioned this before, but I don't take showers because I think showers are a waste of time. I take a bath and I use a waterproof Android phone, so I can take notes on my working projects. I run the bath. I keep working until the bath's ready. Hop in the bath. So now that's a moment to relax. And I take my development notes on my waterproof Android device, and I can plan out, I can see what needs doing, what needs adjusting, I can plan out what comes next. So that's how I kind of save time. I mean, you could do that in the shower. You could stand in the shower with a waterproof phone, but then you're not really resting and relaxing. You know, that's, you know, and no one's going to use an Android phone in the shower, honestly. Yeah. 20 meals a day. Okay, so here we go. I think my controls are thus. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. So, it's funny on I think it's on emulators. It does that. On emulators, like it sort of flickers on the background a little bit, but then like if you exit and come back, it sort of displays correctly. So the way that I achieved that different shade of gray is by, you know, by using the VSync and flickering the image. So it really like only displays on every other VSync, which is why it flickers. I'm so pleased that I was able to get this campfire in here, because it wouldn't be a Silver Falls game if you didn't have your bonfire, your campfire, you know. So here it is. Let's see. Just to make sure. Look, three down stars launched, and in Frontier Fighters you had the campfire. Let's see. Undertakers Game B has the campfire. Ghoul Busters, of course, when you finish the levels and you're talking to your friends, you have a campfire. Guardians and Metal Exterminators, of course, it has campfire. Episode Prelude has the bonfire with Million. Let's see, Gaiden, of course, has the campfire. In Ruby River, you make your own. You can have as many campfires as you want in Ruby River. And that's the Ruby River difference. And let's see, yeah, in Galaxy Bound Curse, when you get defeated, you wake up by the bonfire. I really want to work on the big Silver Falls, and I know that you guys want the big Silver Falls games, but the fact of the matter is, they're going to take more time, and they're not going to make that much money. And it's so frustrating. It's frustrating that I want to make my good games. I want to make my best games. And I can't afford to make my best games. It's really disheartening, you know? That I've told you guys, I'm going to do Duck Hunters. I'm going to do Duck Season, Galaxy Bound Curse, and Face Takers, and, you know, all this stuff, and 3 Down Stars, you know, HD. It doesn't matter how good I make those games. It doesn't matter, it's weird saying this, but the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter if they're very good or very bad, because I still won't be able to convince major content creators on the internet to talk about it. It doesn't matter how good or how bad they are when it comes to convincing people to talk about my game. I could make the absolute best game in the world, and I still will not be able to convince content creators to talk about it. And that's the fact of the matter with the corner of the game industry where I'm making games. It matters to all of you. Like, I'm making the absolute best games I can for you guys, but I still have no way of convincing content creators to cover my stuff. So it's a Sisyphean nightmare that I'm stuck in this loop. So did anyone notice something? I'm going to ask here if anyone noticed something here. What's my C button? That's the reset button. No? Yeah, it is. Okay, so my C button, I don't have a C button, I need that. Okay, I got in a battle. I need to exit this and set up a C button. I don't know why the C button isn't already there by default. So let's go ahead and figure that out. And I hope it doesn't sound like I'm coming off quite bitter here. It's just that I'm frustrated that I'm doing my best work, you know. I'm making the absolute best games that I can, and it's starting to feel like, I've made the best thing that I can, and I can't get content creators to cover my games. And you're so utterly beholden to content creators covering your games online. Yes. So I think I need button 3 somewhere. That says 7. So how do I change that? Because if I click OK, that's gonna go up. I need a button. I'm gonna keep pressing that until I loop back around. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, yeah. Okay, we need a button on 0 and 3. So let's see. So there's supposed to be more content coming. The Pokemon Mini Homebrew community is amazing. They are amazing people. They're so great. And we're working on a solution right now because I had to cut out a ton of content from this because there's a problem where I can't fit more space onto this, even though I'm supposed to be able to. The compiler won't compile because it's hit a size limit. So I'm going to put that menu button. I'm going to try this 0. I'm going to put this at 0 and see if that works. 0. Enable changes. Yep, okay. Go back. And then can I save? Yeah, save config. That's what I didn't do. Okay. Huh? Nani? Define joystick. Enable joystick. Yes. I didn't apply changes. That's what I didn't do. Apply changes? Yeah. Go back. Save config. Okay, let me play both of these games simultaneously. Alright. No card. Let me catch up with the chat now. I'm just sort of... I think you guys... You caught me... I sound exasperated. I know I sound exasperated, and I apologize for that. I've been working just the longest hours. Oh, okay, I'm not supposed to push that button. Okay, cool. So don't push that button, because that will cause the menu to come up. I'm going to have to fix that. I better fix that now. That's going to get annoying. Platform. So, define joystick. Menu. Yeah, 8. Apply changes. Go back. Save configs. Look, I didn't start a stream today to vent. I didn't mean to do that, but I'm exasperated because I've been working 130 hours a week. I've forgotten what happiness and friendship feels like, and I've just been staring at a computer screen for every waking second of my life. So there's that. Let me get caught up with the chat now. As long as it comes to the Atari VCS first. My upcoming games, my Sweet Abominations and Gorgeous Sword, Long Hard Justice, and also Neon Starglide, which is coming. I'm going to work on Neon Starglide after I get these games done. And if I'm working on Breath of Thunder, I'll simultaneously work on Neon Starglide. Like this is what makes me laugh is there's like these people online that are hearing about Breath of Thunder, and they're saying, "Oh, you can't do that. That you can't make a game on many consoles." It's so funny because it's like, oh, but I'm always making multiple games simultaneously, even though they're different games. I'm constantly making different games simultaneously. It would actually be very easy for me to make the same game on many different consoles. It'd be so easy for me. So it's so weird that all these people around the world are saying, "Oh, that's too hard. You can't do that. It's impossible." When for me, it's very easy to do, and I've been doing it. It's just like a it's so weird to hear that. So did you guys notice this about Bull? One could say that I did this whole Pokemon Mini thing to really extend the storytelling of the characters. Something that's so important to me with every Silver Falls release is that it helps tell the story, it helps you understand these people. And you see some of that with Winnie. Winnie's, originally, Minnie was supposed to have code linker connectivity, and Winnie was, not Winnie, Wilma, sorry. Wilma was supposed to be unlockable in, you know how I did Guardians and Metal Exterminators S on the Switch. Originally, Wilma was supposed to be unlockable by doing Code Linker with Minnie, but I couldn't get Minnie made in time, and so I made Wilma unlockable through the core part of the story in Guardians and Metal Exterminators S. So if I had finished this in time and I had gotten Code Linker working, that's how you would have gotten Wilma. But now Wilma's just a core part of the story. And that was for the better, I think. Because I made her a core part of the story, I went into her story more and I made her story a bit more deeper and tied into the other characters emotionally because of that. Cloud City, are they all just template flips or actual real games? Cloud City. Cloud City, you must be an amazing dev, one of the best on the planet. Where are these amazing games? Oh, sorry, I'm so far behind on the chat. If you go on Steam, you're going to see a lot of games. No, it's so frustrating. If you go on Switch, even, a lot of games on there are asset flips that are just base Unity templates. There are some scammers that are making trashware on Nintendo Switch that they didn't even change the graphics in the tutorials. There are trashware people, developers. I wouldn't even call them developers. There are trashware manufacturers that are taking Unity tutorials and uploading the tutorials to Unity. And it's frustrating because they're ruining the industry. They're ruining it for everyone else that's giving this, their honest, actual attempt. If you guys keep bothering me about making Homebrew for a specific console, including Atari 2600, you know exactly how I'll respond if you keep bothering me about it. I will do it. I think that's like a very parent response. Like your kid keeps saying, "Can we go to Six Flags? Can we go to Six Flags? Can we go to Disneyland? Can we go to Disneyland?" Look, if there's any young people out there, here's my advice. If you want something from your parent, just keep annoying them, keep bothering them. If you guys want something from me, keep annoying me, keep bothering me about it. Keep sending messages that say, "Hey, give me an Atari 2600 game." Yeah, just keep doing it. Eventually I'll do it. Jason, yeah, they just don't know Sungrand or anything about you. You have absolutely done some impressive things that nobody else was able to do on 3DS specifically. I wish more people knew. Well, my wish is that the 3DS memory management worked and it actually released the RAM that it was supposed to release. Pissing minigame leaked. Guys, okay, so I'm going to share something with you. This is a future thing, and I want you to take this very seriously. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be a funny YouTuber. This is fact. So I have a Game Boy Advance game in development called Silver Falls God Bless America. This is going to be one of the mainline titles. I'm going to share something funny with you guys. I'm not sure if anyone has noticed this, but you can tell which Silver Falls is a mainline title and which one is just a fun support title because I put a hyphen, the dash. I put a dash in the Silver Falls title. So if there's a dash in the title, basically everyone on the internet gets it wrong. If like websites cover it, they always put a colon. There's never been a colon in a Silver Falls title, but if you look anywhere, they always put a colon. The dash is very important. If I put a dash in the Silver Falls title, that means it's a mainline title. So I've been working on God Bless America for the Game Boy Advance, and what that is about is these characters. It's going to have a very Galaxy Bound Curse vibe in that it's a bunch of these people getting drunk and having fun, and some of them know that they are fighting monsters, and some of them are so drunk they don't even realize they're fighting monsters. And that was the story explanation in Galaxy Bound Curse, why there's certain characters that are playable in Galaxy Bound Curse, but in the story, they still don't know that there's monsters and cryptids in Silver Falls, is because the one time that they were involved with it, they were so drunk that they were just running around with their friends at night, and they didn't realize that they were fighting monsters. So, in God Bless America, you'll be playing as Wiriam Shipwright, Wirium is actually a playable character in Galaxy Bound Curse. So if you play Galaxy Bound Curse on the Game Boy Color, Wirium is shitting. Oh no, Wirium. Wirium is sitting here, and you can recruit him into your party directly. And Gus is sitting here, and it's funny because a lot of the characters that are sitting in this bar are characters that star in their own Silver Falls games. This is Karn DeLance, and Karn will star in Silver Falls 64. So that's pretty exciting. I have a 64 SDK, but I don't know, and I don't think I'm going to do Silver Falls on the actual N64 because it would take too long, and I would need external funding. And if I did Silver Falls on the N64, it would have to be another Kickstarter because I can't afford to make that game on the actual N64. So, Wirium is the protagonist of God Bless America, and it's going to be the most American game you've ever played. God Bless America is set in either 2002 or 2003, so it's around the same time that Mini takes place, Monsters in North Island. So in God Bless America, it's the 4th of July. A bunch of the people that live in Silver Falls are celebrating 4th of July by having a camp out at a lake, and everyone is getting very drunk, and of course there's going to be cryptids involved, right? Excuse me. But the stats menu, the characters that you're playing as are not kids, they're adults, and so I want to lean into that. And the stats menu, you know how you play an RPG and you see things like power, strength, magic, speed. So in God Bless America, your stats window tells you what your retirement plan is. It tells you how many guns you own, and I'm not lying, I'm not joking. It tells you your dick size in inches. And that's what the stat menu is. And it also tells you what your job is. You think job like, oh cool, a job system, in an RPG. No, this tells you what your occupation is. So that's on the stat menu. So it'll say plumber, electrician, carpenter. So that's Galaxy Bound Curse. There's going to be a mini game in Galaxy Bound Curse. It's going to have a similar system where you keep drinking almost all of the items in in God Bless America. Like, you have to restore your health. You have to restore your energy. All of that stuff is going to be drink-based, which means your character is constantly drinking and getting more and more drunk. And that ties into the whole theme of that game. It's the 4th of July, man. And I'm not trying to glorify drinking, but that's always been a sort of a point of the story in Silver Falls. And eventually you'll get to a point where your bladder fills in God Bless America, and then you have to pee. So you have to find a spot to pee, and you can perform piss tricks, and you use the D-pad and the buttons, and you see your pee stream, and you get to do cool loops, and you will get stat boosts and little bonuses, like ability bonus, based on the tricks that you do, based on the piss tricks that you do. So this is Silver Falls, God Bless America. I am not joking about any of this. This is stuff that I'm implementing in the actual Game Boy Advance game. You will be able to see all of that on the Game Boy Advance. So that's what I have planned for God Bless America. Elkin Fencer, that one guy in the hotel bathroom frozen mid-piss and 3 down stars. Starring that one guy. RTC means real-time clock. Oh, right, okay. No, this does not use the real-time clock. I am working on another mini homebrew game. It's going to be a virtual pet. I want to do a couple different virtual pets for the mini, just for fun, That's something I always wanted to make when I was a kid. So I'm going to work on that when I have a little bit of time. But at this point, it was so difficult. It was so difficult learning how to make a game work on the mini, and it would have been impossible without the mini homebrew community. The people there are amazing. And it took me a whole day to make anything run on the mini, to deploy anything. And that's a long time for me. But at this point now, I could make basically anything that I want that isn't like a Doom clone. Anything that I want, I can make it on the mini very quickly now. I've gained the power. It is now absorbed into my... What does Mega Man have? The Mega Chip? The Kaleidoscope chip? The Wonder Rainbow chip? Whatever Mega Man has, I've absorbed that. The mini information, I've absorbed that into my soul. It's part of me. I can make a bunch of mini games now, which I intend to do. And that's what I want to do long term, is for all these old consoles, if I can absorb the information and develop the skill to make a game for that console, it will be easy for me to make games for those consoles. And I'll do it. I will do it. But I need the time to learn it. Jason, on 3DS, your indie games were a rarity like an Oasis in the desert, but on Switch eShop, the competition is extreme. Plus, it's oversaturated with asset flips that hurt everyone. Yeah, it's frustrating. Obsidian, I agree with you guys asking for the 7800 ports. He totally should. I have a workstation in my office. I'm in my studio. In my office, I have a workstation that specializes in that retro homebrew stuff. And it's got like a bunch of screens. I set it up like a mid-2000s, hacker station. There's monitors everywhere. I've got my 2600 and 7800 homebrew set up there. A 2600 is too weak, but I bet a 2600 looking port for 7800 would probably be doable if you could get a good SDK and get some practice. Where do you get the SDK for old platforms? Mastercard 77. You just search for it online. Type in the console that you want. Type in SDK, and it's so important that you become part of the communities that are doing that homebrew, because the SDKs that by themselves are not enough. There's usually very little instruction. You'll find GitHubs. You want to find the GitHubs. Like someone asked me yesterday regarding the Breath of Thunder Kickstarter. Somebody said, "Oh, it's a shame." They jokingly said, "Oh, it's a shame it's not coming to the Neo Geo CD." Ha ha ha. And so I went and I found a Neo Geo CD SDK. I installed it and set it up. And then I went back to that person and I said, "Hey, I just set up an SDK for the Neo Geo CD." And again, it took me a whole day to learn to develop for Pokemon Mini. And after one day, I could make a full game. I want you guys, I don't think I've said to anyone, I want you guys to guess how long it took me to make the game here. And there's more. There's more content to this game that I had to cut out because of a size limitation. Just in the chat, I want you guys to guess how long it took me to make that Pokemon Mini. But yeah, you just type in the platform you want and put SDK there. So I was saying earlier that when I make a Silver Falls game, it's so important that each game is about organically learning more about these characters. And I want you to feel like they're a part of your life and you are a part of their life, like they are an old friend that you're checking in with. If you look at everyone else's stats here, by default, their happiness, their friendship, and their fun, their default stats are actually a part of their characterization. They actually say something about their characters. They're not just random values. So if you have a look at this, if you have a look at their friendship, some of their values start pretty... Well, actually, they've gone up. What I'm going to do is reset this, right? I'll reset it and then get back into it. What button is it? This one? Yeah. So let's look at their default happiness values and their friendships. So what this says about Gold, his friendship is pretty low. And the reason being is that Oxa and Bull are here together. And this is one of the first times that we see Oxa and Bull together since Undertakers. And when you look at the story of Guardians and Metal Exterminators S, Gold is not an idiot. Gold even says, "I can tell you're looking for someone else. I know you're looking for someone else." So what do you think is going to happen when Oxa and Bull are finally spending time together again? And Gold is like now this third wheel and he can see, oh man, these two have chemistry. His friendship is feeling pretty low. But he's also a pretty fun-loving guy, so his fun stat starts higher, basically higher than everyone else. Hogan is a fisherman. He's here on a fishing trip, so his fun is pretty high. And Hogan has the highest friendship level. And that's because he has a good group of friends. We know that he's friends with Karn and Hogan and a bunch of other people in town. So their default happiness, friendship, and fun levels are a part of their storytelling and their character. And this was something that's hard coded in, is Bull's friendship and Bull's fun can never increase beyond 0. Everyone else's stats can go up when you play the game and you do all the different components of the game. Their friendship and fun naturally increases, but Bull's friendship and fun are always bottomed out. They're always at 0, and they can never go higher than 0. And that's if you've spent time with him in the other games, that feels, it should be something that you feel organic, and you shouldn't wonder why. If you played the other games, you would understand. Oh man, everyone here is having so much fun, and this guy's just like standing there in the corner, staring at everyone, and it's kind of sad. Yeah, his happiness can go up though. There's supposed to be more lines of dialogue, so when you exit this menu, when you press the A button, there's supposed to be more lines of dialogue, and I actually had to cut all of them. So the line of dialogue that the character says is based on their level of happiness. When you talk to the characters by pressing the A button, based on how happy they are, they'll say something different, and you get to learn more about their character. And I had to cut that because I ran out of space on the ROM. What a Bull thing to say. What a Bull thing, let's see, let me catch up. Pony Petter. Guys, what if I put Pony Petter on the Switch? We're going to say it right now in the chat. If you guys want Pony Petter on the Switch, you better say it, because there's been so much garbage. I would never have put Pony Petter on the Switch, but there is so much trashware on the Switch eShop right now that I would not be against putting Pony Petter on the Switch eShop, and I'll just stick it in there for $1 or something. So if you guys want it, say it. Say it in the chat now. If you guys want it, if there's enough people that say it, I will put Pony Petter on the Switch, and I swear to you, I won't change anything. It's going to be a direct port of the Wii U version of Pony Petter. Hey, Spicy Cacao, good to see you. Slim has to be a major protagonist. We've seen Slim in so many games already. Let me see. Let's see if we can get Slim to show up and see what he says here. Oh, Gold, buddy. Oh, don't say that, Gold. I'm playing both games simultaneously. We're trying to get Slim to spawn. This is Rauno. Oh my god, stream never loaded for me. I had to refresh to get it to load. Oh. Really? Huh. Let's see. El Confessor, we're Jarrell's marketing team. We've got to whore ourselves out. You don't have to whore yourself out. I noticed that RNGs work different on emulators and hardware. RNG works better on real hardware. Let's see. Oh man, I gotta catch up. Let me catch up with the chat really quick. Guys, okay, so I had this. I've been. I don't know if my brain's snapping, but I've been thinking of like really funny ideas, and I was thinking of doing a game called Silver Falls. If it was made by a AAA studio, and I was just gonna like put a bunch of fake DLC and like battle pass stuff and like seasons and whatnot. I was just gonna like make a bunch of those fake elements and build it into the game, and I would like put horrifying, ugly visual glitches where like your character's face melts and then all you see are their eyes and their teeth. I don't know why Slim's not showing up. Okay, I will catch up with the chat. Put a giant Jarrell head in the water with the island as your hair. Hey, Mock Duck Plays Games. Hey, good to see you. Let's see. I might have to refill my coffee in a minute. Also, I think you are somewhat crazy for putting a Virtual Boy version in your upper tier of Kickstarter. I do not actually believe we'll get that far. I never thought we would get that far in the Kickstarter. But I thought it would be something. I thought it was just something fun. If people saw it, they thought, "Oh, that's cool, that's fun." They would just think it's kind of neat. I can make games for the Virtual Boy. Yay, Slim's here. But it would take a significant amount of effort and time to put a game on the Virtual Boy, especially since I won't be making money off of it. That's why it's high up. But also, I don't actually think we're going to get that high. That's that's really high, and I'm basically nobody. I'm not this huge famous celebrity. I'm not an influencer, and it's really like famous people get a lot of leverage on Kickstarter campaigns. I'm getting caught up with the chat now. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You want Undertakers on Game Boy cartridge? Hey, Jason, I can 100%. I can do a Game Boy port of Undertakers. If people ask for it, I absolutely will do Undertakers on the Game Boy because GB Studio is so good and it's such a mature product that I could make Undertakers on the Game Boy. Honestly, I could probably do it in 2 days or less. I would spend 1 day on story mode and then the next day for game B. So game A is a story, game B is the action mode. Yeah, I could do Undertakers. I could put it on the Game Boy in 2 days easily. Team Bath, and there's waterproof Androids 7th gen. Yeah, this is a black view, but I don't recommend it because the latest like Google updates have kind of ruined it. They're I plug this in once a week because the battery's so huge. It's the chunkiest phone you've ever seen. It's waterproof, it's tough, and it only costs like $250 US. But again, the latest Android updates ruined it. Like the screen gets stuck. I have to keep turning the screen. I have to keep unlocking. I have to keep locking and unlocking the screen to get touch to work again. I can't recommend these anymore. Yeah. Envy IS Bonfires, my second favorite thing that Dark Souls invented, just close to the concept of a hard game. I only played Dark Souls like for 5 minutes at a friend's house. He told me to play it. Yeah, it was fun. But I can't play games that take a lot of time or attention because of my work. Jason, three Down Stars is an impressively large game with so much content. It's a full retail-length game with absolutely bonkers amount of content in the Frontier Fighters mode. I just wanted to give people something good, No, I wanted to give people something great. And I feel like I did my best, and it's just unfortunate that the Unity for 3DS just couldn't release the memory. That's the problem with development on 3DS and my 3DS games, is Unity on 3DS cannot release the memory properly, and so the games crash. And unfortunately, it built a negative reputation for me because people saw me as an incompetent developer, and I got slammed with negative reviews. Hey, that's life, man. You gotta move forward and just build up from there. The majority always will go for dopamine simulators like the Call of Duty or mainstream stuff. Yearly games by greedy, yeah. Unfortunately, that makes a lot of money, and that's not how I want to do it. I intend to make my studio extremely successful, but I'm not going to do it that way. I will never compromise my morals and beliefs, but I will make a game like Gorgeous Sword, Long Hard Justice, where your sword just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So I will do that, Mock Duck plays. That's why some people hire a marketing person to help, whether community manager type or more formal social media and influencer person, or use a third-party group to help. Costs money though. You're right. That absolutely costs money. And some of my previous career paths include public relations. I've been. I mean, I'm not trying to like, ooh, look at me, but I pioneered the use of social media for major industries, for businesses. No businesses or industries were using social media in the late 2000s and the early 2010s, and I helped pioneer that in Australia. Companies came to me and they said, we need a digital technology consultant and someone to help us with social media. So the role of social media manager didn't exist at that time, and so I pioneered that in Australia, and these companies are coming to me saying, like, you can use social media for that. And so I did that, and it was an interesting challenge. It had never been done before. It was fun. It was a fun challenge, and I learned a lot. So I have a fair amount of experience when it comes to public relations and that sort of marketing and business management. The promotional video and making just for everyone to see your JRPG. I have a promotional video in the making. Oh, thanks for that, Super Smash. I really appreciate that. Yeah. 7th Gen. It's the Wii all over again. The Wii was so great. Like, that was a cultural phenomenon, you know. I'm so far behind in the chat. Spice Cacao, good to see you. I just want to say that it's great to see you starting up a Kickstarter, as many others have suggested, and I do hope it's successful for you. Yeah, this was because you guys said it, and it's an opportunity to stabilize the studio financially. And if this Kickstarter goes well, I'm going to make Breath of Thunder on all these consoles. They're going to be as great as they absolutely can be. I want to make the absolute best games possible that I can. I want to give people games that feel like, whoa, like a real professional studio made these back then, you know? That's what I want with those. I want people to just get lost and immersed in enjoying that game. And by doing so, I'll make the studio financial, and that will allow me to make the bigger Silver Falls games. Personally, though, I think my preferred way to support you is through buying your games, though. I really appreciate that, you know. That means so much to me, that you guys are enjoying my games. So did I mention Silver Falls? Okay, guys, there's not that many people near me. I'm going to share a little bit with you here. There's a real reason why, there's a number of reasons I've been learning to make homebrew for so many platforms. But I'm always planning 10 steps ahead. I'm never thinking of just right now. I'm never thinking of 1 or 2 steps ahead. I'm thinking of 10 steps ahead and everything in between. And we've been seeing so much of Slim in these games. There's a lot of story that we've seen from him. And the reason I've been learning so many older consoles is that there is a game I've been planning called Silver Falls 1989. And by the title of that, I would hope that some of you might be able to figure out and might be able to guess what kind of game Silver Falls 1989 will be. But the main character is Slim. Slim will star in Silver Falls 1989. It takes place in 1989, and I want to put it on legacy consoles. I want to put Silver Falls 1989 on as many consoles as I can, and they'll each kind of have their own unique version of it. And comment if you think you know what kind of game 1989 will be. But there's enough story now in all of the games that Slim has appeared in all of the story and the text that you get from him. There's enough now you already know what Silver Falls 1989 is about. I do look forward to getting back to your latest game on Switch sometime. You know, Guardians of the Metal Exterminators S, I wanted that to be an ideal just jump in, jump out game. Something that doesn't demand that you pay constant attention to it. It's just there for you to enjoy. Hey, Lee Comstock. I said your name correctly. It's not Cornstalk, it's Comstock. You know. Elkin, you remember Wiriam from GBC? Yeah. He'll be the protagonist of GBA. So, can we get Homebrew for Leapfrog? Jokes aside, you really are talented for making all these games on different generations of systems. Good to see you, First Last. People have joked. People have joked about things like that. You know, people joked about the Pokemon Mini. I'm dead serious. I don't know what it takes to make for the Leapfrog. I could look it up, but, you know, it would be funny. It would be very funny to put something on the Leapfrog and make a Silver Falls educational game. So, yeah. How many machine guns and rocket launchers will be in God Bless America? There's going to be a lot of guns. Where did the Silver Falls idea concept originate? End of level boss. I'm so sorry if you commented that a while ago. I think I'm behind on the chat. I'm catching up now. Uh-oh, how far behind am I? Okay. Where did the Silver Falls idea concept originate? I wanted to make a game that... For starters, I tried to make Silver Falls on the Wii U, and I failed at first because I didn't have enough experience as a developer. That was my first development unit that I had, and I didn't have what it takes. I was still inexperienced. I wanted to make a survival horror game. I didn't know it was going to be a series at that point. I wanted to make a game, but I knew that I wanted to make something different from Silent Hill and Resident Evil. You know, those are the big ones that everyone talks about. Silent Hill, Resident Evil. I wanted to make something different. I wanted to make characters that people cared about. I wanted stories and characters that people wanted to keep checking in with over time. And as I was developing 3 Down Stars, it was Undertakers, 3 Down Stars, and Ghoul Busters were the first, it was 3 Down Stars, Undertakers, and Deadly Shadows. And those were the first three, the core three, and then Ghoul Busters came very shortly after that in terms of concept. And I knew that I wanted to make a game series where players could check in with these characters in different decades, and spend time and learn more about these characters and see these characters. See what I didn't like about video games that featured characters that I really like is they would make these characters that I really like, and then it felt like they handed the character off to different writers for the next game, and these writers that took on the characters didn't even understand what these characters were about. They seemed to not understand, the struggles that these characters faced with, the hardships that they went through, things that the player experienced with these characters. It feels like the new writers didn't understand that at all. So I wanted to write a game series where the continuity was there. And I've never played a game series where it felt like the continuity was correct, was right. So I wanted to make a game series where it felt like you were going to a place you wanted to go. And that's what Silver Falls is. I wanted to make a place where people wanted to spend time. And I wanted it to feel different from Silent Hill and Resident Evil. And so people often ask me, like, oh, where do you get inspiration from? What game do you get inspired from? It's not about getting inspiration from a game. It's about getting inspired from my life experiences. I love going on road trips. I love driving through the mountains and just stumbling upon little mountain towns. I love hanging out in small saloons and dive bars and just chatting with locals and hanging out. And it's this sense of adventure, it's the pioneer spirit. It's, our ancestors, our cultural ancestors in the United States are pioneers and adventurers, and we've inherited that. Whether we understand that or not, we also are adventurers and pioneers. And I wanted that feeling in a game, so that's what Silver Falls is. Entirely 100%, that is all the inspiration for Silver Falls, is just me exploring and adventuring, driving around the mountains and finding little towns. That's, and sometimes ending up in the mountains in the pitch black darkness of night, and hiking around there and it feeling really dangerous. That's where Silver Falls comes from. So there we go. Yeah. Ellen on the Ridge, good to see you. Okay, Pony Petter deserves the Switch. The Switch doesn't deserve Pony Petter though. You missed the first 45 minutes of the stream. Don't worry, we're here now. Hearing about Pony Petter was actually the reason I had interest in your development. It seems so crazy someone made a Wii U game so late on this, with such impressive graphics and features and well usage. Pony Petter was one of the first. It was like that in my mind. That was one of the things where it's like, if I make this Silver Falls game, which is White Inside It's Umbra, that was one of my 100% absolute demands. Was I need to have a game like Pony Petter. There was like, I need to use the gamepad, I need to have, graphics that have to look good, they have to look good on the Wii U. I don't want to make a game where people look at it and go, oh yeah, it's a Wii U game. I want them to look at it and think, whoa, this environment looks cool, I want to explore it. And like, third was it has to have a game like Pony Petter. So, yeah. I wanted there to be a little more gameplay to Pony Petter, but then I thought it would be funny if I left it at just what it is. Okay, Rashad Z, I'm praying for the Dreamcast release. I'm doing what I can to spread the word about the game. Thank you. I've set up... Dreamcast development is so mature, it's so developed right now. Like, I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm so good. But making the Dreamcast version will be one of the easiest versions to make. Not because I'm so great, but it's because other people have already done so much work to progress the Dreamcast development scene, the homebrew scene. So that's why the Dreamcast will be one of the easiest versions for me to make. It'll be one of because it's so far along, the Dreamcast version, I might consider doing full all 3D graphics. It just depends. All the other legacy versions of the game will use pre-rendered graphics, but because homebrew on the Dreamcast is so good, I might do a full 3D version, maybe. We'll see, once I start development on that. Dude is clearly somebody with those skills. One of my friends is begging for God Bless America on GBA cartridge. I will 100% develop God Bless America so that it can be put on a cartridge. I can manufacture cartridges on my own in-house. I've set up the tech here. I've run tests. I can produce my own cartridges for Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color and normal Game Boy. You saw a Dreamcast controller. So I'm playing the game with the Dreamcast controller. It's nice. I like this controller. It feels good. This is nice. Finally, an affordable Dreamcast game. Not that you can't just burn the games onto DVDs. All the Breath of Thunder ROMs will be free, but I'll do physicals if we can sort it out. Android 14 ruined a good chunk of my budget devices, and you can't use old software anymore. Ugh. I'm getting irritated by Android just ruining legacy like older devices. I have one idea: Silver Falls themed VMU or controller. Hermes, that'd be so cool. That's a great idea. Here's what I want. I do want to put a Silver Falls on the Dreamcast, but I'm going to focus on Breath of Thunder first. But boy howdy, do I want to make VMU stuff. You guys saw that I made the mini thing, right? So clearly I really am passionate about that stuff. I love pixel stuff. If I can make something for the mini, I can make something for the VMU. I want to put a full game on there. I want stuff where you imagine Breath of Thunder. Let's talk about Breath of Thunder for a minute. Imagine you're playing Breath of Thunder, right? And what if the Dreamcast had an exclusive version where you had catchable monsters? That's my weakness. That's my kryptonite. It gets me every single time. If an RPG has catchable monsters, I'm already there. So let's say that the Dreamcast has an exclusive catchable monsters system where you can use them in battle. And the only way to get the catchable monsters is with the VMU. So you play the game, you have to take the VMU with you during the day. You play little mini games, catchable monsters show up, you catch them on the VMU, you stick them back into the cartridge, and you can load them and you can add them to your party in Breath of Thunder for the Dreamcast. That's one usage of it. That's what I would say. Maybe the VMU could also alert you, it can alert you to hidden treasure, so you sometimes will look down, you can see if it's plugged in, you're playing the game, there's a treasure somewhere around here. So that's one idea I have for the VMU. If I could use it for Silver Falls, boy howdy would I be making VMU stuff for Silver Falls. You guys don't even get me started. I know I'm getting heated, I'm getting ramped up here because I think this is so cool. I'm really passionate about this stuff, as you can see. I just want to make cool stuff. I've got so many ideas. I want to make cool stuff, and I think that would be really, really cool. Do not get me started on catchable monsters and RPGs, because I won't stop. You will not be able to stop me. You never personally even touched a Dreamcast because I never knew how easy it was to just burn games and not need to pay for the overpriced reseller value. Go get a Dreamcast. Get a Dreamcast. Hey, when is Long Hard Justice launching? I don't know. It should have been done by now. I could have finished Long Hard Justice and submitted that to everyone, but I've been working on the Kickstarter and these Homebrew games. So, I'm hoping I can get to Long Hard Justice. I can get to it tomorrow. And again, I'll just speedrun that. Again, I say a week. I could finish the game entirely in 2 days, but I need to put it through, testing and make sure it works fully. First fully 3D menu, first built in online gaming, and a fun memory card. Amazing graphics for its time. I still, I looked at, because I'm studying all these consoles, I still can't believe Dreamcast launched in 98, 99? I can't believe that, man. That's the 90s. In my brain, I always thought it was a 2000 console. Elkin Fencer, you're guessing 1989 will be a vertical shooter. You got it, baby. If you have a look at the lore, there's often characters that mention Slim being a fighter pilot. Let me think. What have we had recently? I'm sorry, I can't even recall what I've launched recently off the top of my head because I've had such little sleep. But you often hear about characters talking about Slim as a fighter pilot, and then usually when you talk to Slim, he changes the subject. So 1989, you play as Slim as a fighter pilot, and the year is 1989, and boy howdy, don't you know that there's going to be cryptids involved. No Way Silver Falls GTA Vice City Edition. Wow, can't type today. I got it. I understood. Haven't used a leapfrog in decades. Elkin, I'm watching the stream on one screen while I make a Ghoul Busters video. Whoa, you're uh, hyper proficient, sufficient, hyper proficient. Oh man, Deadly Shadows never released. Deadly Shadows is going to come to the Switch, but again, I haven't been able to work on it because it's a big game. It's going to be massive. It is going to use fixed camera angles. It's using the abstraction framework. So the same framework I used for 3 Down Stars on 3DS, for Survive on Vita, Episode Prelude on the Switch. I'm still improving and revamping it because I had to use a very broken version of Unity for Episode Prelude. And hopefully I can get a version of Unity that works properly on the Switch. But it will be like, those kinds of games, but it will be Deadly Shadows will be the most pure, I would say the most pure survival horror, in that it's going to feel like it was made like in 2001, because it's fixed camera angles. You have very limited resources. It's basically all outdoors. There's going to be some indoor areas, like your logging cabin, but you're playing as Woodwheeler. You have his best buddy, Rich, Dollarbuck, and you basically are 2 young guys. You're like 17 and 18, and you've joined a logging crew. You've left home. You kind of had a fight with your parents, or Wood had a fight with his parents. He's joined a logging crew to set out on his own, and it is just so unfortunate that this logging crew is cutting down trees where blood is coming out of it. Blood's coming out of these trees that they're cutting down, and they don't really understand why. But they have a job to do, so they're doing it. And so in Deadly Shadows, you're there. You start during the day, and you're sort of sussing things out. And during the nighttime, your crew members start disappearing. And that is Deadly Shadows. It was originally going to be a 3DS game, and I had to cancel that when I realized the Unity 3DS was broken. I want to bring this game to the Switch, but I need like 10 months of development, and that's going to be expensive. The studio isn't earning enough from the Switch games, so I have to make games like Gorgeous Sword Long Hard Justice and put it on a bunch of consoles, and hopefully I can keep the studio funded that way. Because, I really want to do Deadly Shadows, you guys. It's like, I don't consider, 3 Down Stars, I don't consider it like, like the classic style of survival horror, because it has the over-the-shoulder style camera, and it's, there's action, there. And there's so many resources. There's so much resources in 3 Down Stars. It's technically limited, but canonically the characters are exploiting the time loop to build up these resources. Like, they can go and collect ammunition and first aid. You can die on purpose, and you can collect more resources. That exists canonically. The characters understand that they can do that. And characters even comment on things like that. Whereas with Deadly Shadows on the Switch, you don't have that time loop anymore. You have very limited resources. So Deadly Shadows is going to be the truest, purest survival horror experience in the Silver Falls series, outside of White Inside Its Umbra. To me, White Inside Its Umbra, Deadly Shadows will have a game over state. Like, White Inside Its Umbra didn't have a hard game over state. You could brute force your way through to the end of the game, but White Inside Its Umbra to me was a true survival horror experience, because it all came down to resource management, and you could really screw yourself over. I was inspired to make White Inside Its Umbra a brutally punishing game when it came to your resources, because of time that I spent hiking through mountains at night. I sound like a crazy person. I know I sound like a crazy person. So I love going up to the Sierra Nevadas. I've got my backpack, I've got my flashlight, and boy, don't you know, I've got a buck knife. I've got like a 12-inch buck knife up in the front. I've got a pocket knife on each pocket, and then I usually have like some sort of like arm attachment or something, where I've got a pocket knife on that. And it's so, I'm going to sound like insane now, but that's in case I get attacked, and something has bitten this arm, something's bitten that arm. If I can't reach one of my knives, I have knives available. I usually have like a shoulder strap on my backpack. If I get attacked somewhere and I'm clamped down by like a cougar or a wolf, and if I can't get to my knife, I have to be able to access a knife somewhere else. So those are the things when I go out hiking. I love going out at night in the Sierra Nevadas. I often go alone. I take bear spray as well, you know. And there's this sense of danger and this excitement that, holy crap, I could get killed at any minute. At any minute. At any minute, something could happen and my life is over. And there are no do-overs. And so that is what inspired the feeling for White Inside Its Umbra. There is at no point in White Inside Its Umbra where I wanted the game to feel like a video game. I wanted it to feel like you were just living an experience that was very scary and punishing. And so White Inside Its Umbra is so unforgiving. If you do not manage your resources well, it could be impossible to finish, to get through to the end because you've wasted your resources. And so that is inspired by my time in the outdoors hiking through the Sierra Nevadas at night. Was the feeling that if I make a mistake, I'll be dead. I'll be dead and no one will ever see me again. And it's you. Obviously, you have some help in White Inside Its Umbra because every time you get killed, for some reason, you end up somewhere with the mechanic, you know. And, you know, that's there for you guys to sort of, you know, mull over on your own. Elk and Fencer, I assumed Deadly Shadows would be a DS game. So, what I'm going to do with Deadly Shadows, so you guys know I'm making Duck Season. Duck Season will be for the, let me get to about it here. Duck Season will be for the Switch, and I'm also doing a DS version. Excuse me. So the DS version of Duck Season will launch simultaneously with the Switch version. For me, on a business standpoint, the DS version is marketing. That's my only way to market Duck Season for the Switch. It's the only way to get people, you know, finding out about it and talking about it. What's my B button here? Is that one? Yeah. Okay. But the Switch version of Duck Season is essentially the sequel to Duck Season on the DS. They'll have the same core gameplay, but things will be different because Duck Season takes place around the same time as Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers, 2 or 3 weeks after 3 Down Stars, while Duck Season on the DS takes place around 2005, 2006. So characters are at different stages of their lives. You'll be spending time with one particular character. You'll be spending a time with that character. It's someone that we haven't spent much time with at all in the other game, so it's someone new, but he's been there. It's just someone that we haven't really spent time with. And you'll get to see where he is in 2 different stages of his life. Even though you're playing as the Ducks, you hang out with this character a fair bit, But when I do Deadly Shadows for the Switch, I will do a DS version. I will do an actual DS version of Deadly Shadows. It will be a survival horror game, and it will use pre-rendered graphics. So I'm very excited to be able to bring Deadly Shadows to the Switch and the original DS. And you guys know I love the DS. I'm still making DS stuff. Right now, I've been working on being able to develop for the DS because it takes time to learn the quirks of each platform. I now am proficient enough with the DS where it's only because I've been working on this homebrew, the upcoming homebrew that has the RPG battle system. Because I've been working on that, I now have gained the proficiency. I now have what it takes to make Duck Season on the DS. I now have what it takes to make Deadly Shadows on the DS. So I'm at a point now where I can make whatever I want on the DS now. I'm playing both games. Okay, I'm playing both games simultaneously. Okay, I gotta get into a battle. Hold on. Yeah. I'm playing both games simultaneously. Life is so hard. Life is so hard. Nailed it. So it's good. Here's a tip. It's good to keep your fun up, because if your fun is up, that increases your chances of success for completing jobs. So if you can, try to do as much storytelling with gold as you can. Life is so hard. I think my characters are hungry. That's what's happening. So if your characters are hungry, they're going to fail. Oh, life is so hard. Okay, I got a power snack. Nice. Everyone likes those. They make your attacks way stronger. So I need to catch some fish. Life is so hard. Life is so hard. Okay, I got a cat. Sorry, I'm losing my place on the chat. I will get caught up now. Let's see. Dreamcast and the Sega. I'm gonna have a power snack here. What button do I press? I don't know what my buttons are. This one. Any Silver Falls game you could recommend as a first timer? Haven't played a game yet. I would strongly recommend Ghoul Busters on the Switch. Ghoul Busters, I think, is the one that people have so much fun with. Or Galaxy Bound Curse on the Game Boy Color. I need to put that on the itch.io. Look, guys, I feel kind of old. I don't really know that much. Everyone on the internet is always either having an itch or a twitch or a twat or an X these days. I feel like I'm old. I don't really understand the world anymore. I just know that you're supposed to have an itch and a twitch and a tweet. I need to put Galaxy Bound Curse on. Yes! The axe is my father! I died. I got the axe and I died. Yeah, I think Galaxy Bound Curse, I think a lot of people really enjoy that one. You get to spend so much time. Galaxy Bound Curse, it was the first chance in the Silver Falls series where I could give people a game where it's just a chance to breathe. Just some breathing room. There were always quiet moments in the Silver Falls series, especially with 3 Down Stars in Frontier Fighters at the campsite. That was a moment to breathe, but that mode was very action heavy. Galaxy Bound Curse was meant to be a moment in the series for people to really breathe. They get to explore the town and really enjoy it. And I think Galaxy Bound Curse was so satisfying for the people that played 3 Down Stars first, because they saw 3 Down Stars, they saw the town that was frozen in time, and they were locked out of it. They were in... That was the feeling that I want, that you were somewhere, yet you still felt excluded. And that was the theme of 3 Down Stars. That, man, there's this town, but you get to explore it, but you feel like you're a voyeur and you're not really there. But with Galaxy Bound Curse on the Game Boy Color, that was the first game where you really felt like you were there in the town. And so that's one that I would recommend people try first. Why? I'm so bad at fishing. Oh. Let me try cooking. Okay, I'll try cooking again. Life is so hard. Yes. Let me cook again. If your characters are hungry, they'll have a really high chance of failure. If you don't have any food and you try to cook, you will fail, so you'll mess up your stats. So, and here's a bit of the storytelling as well. This is what I call mechanical storytelling, mechanical organic. So mechanical organic storytelling is something that I try to implement in every single Silver Falls, and that is the mechanics of the game are actually a part of the storytelling. It is so vital. Like, obviously, it's so important for your characters. Every character's job is important. It's super important. But Oxa and Gold they're pivotal to your success. Like, they contribute so much to your failure rate that if you do not do their jobs and stay up to date with their jobs, that you'll fail at this. And that's supposed to be a nod to Guardians and Metal Exterminators. At this point, they're probably 2 of the most experienced people when it comes to dealing with these cryptids, outside of Bull, of course. But they have so much experience because of Guardians and Metal Exterminators that it shows that they know how to make this work. If they have people at a campsite and they're dealing with these cryptids, organically, mechanically, this is a way to express that they know what to do. They know what's up. And they know that if you don't keep up your level of fun, and if you're not constantly, making sure you're taking care of yourself in terms of food, you'll die. You'll die. I think I'm out of food, and I'm making things worse. Life is so hard. You're supposed to check how much food you have. I got first aid. Okay. The RNG does not work well in the emulator. I've noticed that. I should have gotten into another fight by now. Yeah, I'm playing 2 games at once. I should be on Twitch, right? Is this what Twitch people do? They play 2 games at once? Actually, I'm getting really good at playing 2 games at once. Well, guys, I gotta be honest here, I totally forgot what I was talking about. What were we talking about? I think I need to have another coffee. I haven't had a whole lot of sleep. I've just been working on these games. No! I lost my axe. I was reading the chat and I lost my axe. I got the stick. See the stick's recycle time? That's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be like a little bit faster, and the axe is supposed to be a little bit slower. Please die by the fire. Oh. Switch must be the most profitable platform for an indie at this point, I suppose. Pretty sure it was previously, it was 3DS, Xbox 360. It's tough. It's so tough getting attention on the Switch. Switch would be super profitable if it weren't so waterlogged with shovelware. I'm referring to, there is a lot of shovelware, but beyond shovelware there's trashware. And trashware is stuff where people didn't even make an attempt. It's literal trash. There is no attempt. And I mean those studios that are just doing asset flips. Asset flips are not shovelware. Shovelware is stuff that someone at least put it in an attempt to make something. Even if it's not very good, they made an attempt to make something work. Trashware is where they did not even make an honest attempt. And that is what asset flips are. That's when these developers are uploading the actual Unity tutorials. They haven't changed anything. They've taken the tutorial and uploaded that to the Switch shop. That's trashware. And there's so much. Okay, I'm getting caught up in the chat. We need to go back to promoting your stuff in newspapers and the Yellow Pages. I can't remember the last time I've seen a Yellow Pages. Should I play Galaxy Bound Curse? I don't know if I have a Game Boy Color emulator. Let me know in the chat if you guys want me to play Galaxy Bound Curse. It's too hard to play Battle Fever because, again, this is a game where it's like you gotta be 100% on the ball. You know what? On chat, we have tried to play Undertakers Game B on live stream before, and I think I embarrassed myself. I did so poorly because that's a game that it demands your full attention. Like you cannot fool around on Game B. And I really wanted Game B on Undertakers to feel like just like the perfect flow experience. Like once you get in the flow and you've got a real rhythm going, like it's satisfying. And you're just like you've got a rhythm and you're dealing with the enemies. It feels good, and that's what Game B is meant to be. And if you're on live stream and you're reading chat and you're trying to talk to people, I don't think you can play Game B. It's not going to happen. This is Strong as an Ox, the music, Strong as an Ox from Guardians of Metal Exterminators. I am actually paying attention to both games at once. I am trying to play that. I'm not getting any job. So if you guys want to save your progress, again, I haven't been able to implement save data yet. The Homebrew community, we're having a tough time with save data right now, but hopefully in the future we'll find a way to implement save data. Is it because I better check my stats actually? So you always want to check your stats on the camp. Let's see, okay, my warmth is low, so I need to increase my warmth, so you need to do some lumberjacking. I was going to be pretty funny. I mean, I was gonna call Bull's job. I was gonna name it lumberjacking it, but I ran out of space. As you can see, there's only space for lumberjacking. It was gonna be lumberjacking it. I'm not getting any random battles. Life's so hard. Nail it. I failed to tell a story. I'm failing. Here's the thing on emulators. Like, there are notes where it's like the random number generation. There's something weird about it. It's not quite right. Like, it's not as random as it's supposed to be. Whereas on hardware, it works totally fine the way that it's supposed to. I think it varies from emulator to emulator as well. Life's so hard. Alright, check my stats. Oh, hey, my warmth is good. Safety's good. Food is low, which is fine, you know, as long as your hunger is okay. Yeah, my hunger's good. Great. Now I just want to increase my character's fun level. Okay. Yeah, you can use save states. Emulators, I think, have save states. You know, it's on a per emulator basis, so you can save your progress with the emulators. Neo Merge, you're back. What did you miss? We've just been hanging out, been chatting. I've talked about the upcoming mechanics and updates. So the trap weapons in Battle Fever, they're going to be assigned to the X button. So the trap no longer will take the place of your other weapons. And I'll come up with other kinds of traps as well. So there'll be a couple different kinds of traps that you can use. And we'll see where we go from there. So that's another option. Currently, people on Twitch fake blind speedruns, so you could wear a completely see-through cloth over your ears. Okay, so I'll do a speedrun where I develop a video game blindfolded. Yeah, I can do that. I'll get an audience on Twitch that way. Twitch is a lost cause since 2020. Oh, really? When I first played this, I thought you were supposed to move around in this game. Oh, in Mini? Yeah, it's weird. Like, there's no game that really has a format like it, you know? And that's because I had to work with what was possible on the platform and what was within my capability. So it ended up with a pretty interesting setup. Am I right in that you only need to hit up, down, A and B? I don't think you need up and down. You need left and right, though. Yeah. Left and right lets you, like, this is just to sort of look around. This is just visual, you know, to look around the campsite. Just like, ooh, this is my Silver Falls campsite. You need left and right for the character menus and whatnot. And you need the C button. You need the C button as well. Are you talking about Mini or Galaxy Battle Fever? Nail it. Okay, so the random number generator is now broken on Pokemon Mini. How do where if I press escape, what happens there? Save state. I'm going to save state. Okay, I'm going to exit. And then I'll open it again, because I think this emulator's random number generation is not the best. I think that's what's up. We're talking about me, yeah. You don't walk around in this one. So yeah, I've been I've been working on the DS Homebrew. I've been working on the Kickstarter. And I really need to get back to Gorgeous Sword Longhorn Justice. I forgot what those characters. So okay, this is a fun little detail here. For anyone that played Undertakers, so you know in Undertakers you have to shoot Bone Grizzly. And there's a gang there. There's a biker gang with Bone. All of those biker gang members are named characters in Silver Falls. They're not random. And one of those bikers that was with Bone in Undertakers is the bartender in Galaxy Bound Curse. His name is Dodd? Yeah. It's hard to believe Bull was just a kid when he shot Bone Grizzly. Can't believe I used to ride with that crazy asshole. So this is actually the first time anywhere in this series. It's funny that, this is the first time where you actually see that information, you hear that information. Is Dodd, I think, if you play Undertakers, Dodd should be the biker that is the farthest from Bone. So the way that it works is, in terms of loyalty, like what these characters feel towards Bone Grizzly, in terms of like how loyal they are to him and how much they agree with his with his way that he lives, is based on their proximity to him. So the closer they are, in terms of pixels, is how loyal they are to to Bone. And Dodd is actually the farthest away from Bone. I think he's bottom left. So if you go to the bar in Undertakers, Dodd should be bottom left, the farthest away from Bone. And he kind of mentions, like, I don't think Bone should be doing this. So Dodd is that character. So Dodd actually appeared in Undertakers. Twitch bans anyone for anything. Neo merged. This game actually looks better in the emulator than on Analog Pocket. The pixels look all messed up to me on the Pocket. Oh, maybe their emulator, just isn't as far along developed, isn't as mature. Pokemon Mini is pretty far along. It's pretty mature, but as you saw earlier, like the random number generation breaks. I should have loaded my game. I don't really care that much. So yeah, I'm gonna drink some of my coffee. It's cold. I think I might make another one. Okay. So let me see here. I wonder if there's any other homebrew stuff I can show you guys. I'm always working on stuff behind the scenes. I'm always working on more. Because I like surprising you guys. I like when it's fun, where I can just sort of, one day just pop out and say, hey guys, I made a new PSP game for you suddenly. I know I didn't say anything about it before. Here, this is for you. Have fun. I like doing that. I think it's fun. You guys get to have fun. I have fun making things. We get to talk about it. The axe is so good. It has the wrong frame data. That's supposed to be the stick frame data. I gotta get close to the fire though. Spacing is everything in this kind of gameplay. Okay. So you have to watch where enemies are coming from, and this is why I want more trap weapons as an option. The trap is going to be dedicated to the X button. Like I can put a trap there, and that would protect me from that side. Right now, the enemies have a hitbox active when they die. It's not supposed to be that way. I don't know why it's doing that, so I'm going to have to fix that glitch as well. So you can get hit by enemies even though they're dead, which is a bummer. I'm paying a little more attention now, because I have the axe, and the axe is good. One hit and I'm dead. I think the screen needs to be smaller, which is why, the Mini really was meant to have a smaller screen. The stuff doesn't necessarily look great. What if people use what's that what's the emulator filter, like the HQ2X, HQ4X, to like blend the corners. Wonder if anyone has that for the Mini. I'm sure if it was in like RetroArch, they would have it. Are you still giving away games for people that are going through a hard time? Yes. If anyone just would like a game to be cheered up, I still have some copies of Guardians and Metal Exterminators S to share. I'm just trying to organize stuff for Ghoul Busters, and I'm going to do another announcement where I'll share copies of Ghoul Busters for anyone that's just going through a tough time. Because I've been hearing from a lot of people that say that they want to support the Kickstarter, but they're going through a tough time and they don't have money right now. And it's that just sort of reminds me, like, it's not everyone has disposable income for things, especially for games when they really want to play games. And so I just want to run another campaign to offer Ghoul Busters as well. I just haven't had time for it's running the Kickstarter campaign and developing all these games. Especially I'm finishing Sweet Abominations, Gorgeous Sword, and I really want to work on Neon Starglide. That game is going to be so fun. It's so interesting because it's a kind of game where we don't have anything like it. But the problem is I think I need to stop making games that are unique, that are totally brand new, that we've never seen before, because people generally don't respond well in terms of when I ask them to cover my game. If you tell them, oh, it's a new kind of game that no one's ever seen before, I get it totally ignored. But I also, because that's what the Silver Falls games are. It's like they're brand new. I try to make stuff that haven't been done before, and I'm just getting ignored by content creators. So I need to focus on games that's like, you already know what kind of games. We have tons of games, so you already know what genre it is. But here's a spin on it. So for the next few months, I'm just going to be making games that are a little bit like that. I think the knife is supposed to be faster. Bummer. Super Smash. I'll DM you about it, but not for me, for someone I know. Yeah, sure, send me a DM and then I'll organize that for you. Just let me know what the region is. 7th Gen. I sure can say I've been having a hard time. Sure, I'm not broke, but I'm not really too able to afford software. I just pirate most times and buy hardware. I'm more value-oriented when purchasing. Yeah, I know, like, just because you have money doesn't mean that it's okay for you, like, you're in a position where you can spend it on games, because you always have to set money aside for emergencies, and there's always bills and food, and things can come up. 7th Gen, if you haven't played any of... Do you have a Switch, 7th Gen? If you'd like, I'll give you a copy of Galaxy Bound, Guardians and Metal Exterminators S on Switch, if you'd like to play that. I think that's a great game as an entry point. They're all designed to be great entry points, That's the whole point of the series, is play any game first. So, hey, Zelda 60 N64 fan, good to see you. So yeah, 7th Gen, if you'd like a copy of Guardians and Metal Exterminators S, just let me know your region, and I'll organize a download code for you. Let's see here. I think Guardians and Metal Exterminators S is a great entry point because it introduces you to characters and the vibe and the creatures, but it's the most casual game in the series in terms of it's designed to just let you to drop in and out whenever. The game doesn't demand your attention. It really respects your time, and you can play a couple minutes here and there, but it's just meant to be just a fun, relaxing vibe, just fun, And you did recently buy a Switch. It's hard to justify buying Nintendo games on Nintendo consoles, so I've been sticking to indies or old games like original. I'm trying to read and not get killed. I didn't do a bad run. I was reading the chat. Axe? No axe. I only have the gun. I did a bad one. I got a bad RNG here. Guardians and Metal Exterminators says, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I was so pleased with how the soundtrack turned out. It was hard work. I really pushed myself as a musician, as a recording engineer, as a composer, and as a musical performer. I think the Guardians and Metal Exterminators S soundtrack is the best that I've done, because it was done at the latest point in my career, and it's the hardest I've pushed to create something great. So I'm very pleased with how the soundtrack for Guardians turned out. 7 You're 17. I don't have to cry to mom for money, but jobs aren't paying well. I totally hear you. Oh boy, this is gonna be a story. One of my first jobs, I won't get too far into it. It was like a storage management, and the manager was leaving me alone. I was just to be an assistant. The manager was leaving me alone in an area that was, like a high rate of like drug use and poverty. And I was left alone in the office, and someone that was high on meth was rushing around the storage unit, and I was alone in the office. I think I was 17 at the time, and hey, you're 17. And they left me alone in the office, and this person that's like they're off the planet. They're tweaking out. They're freaking out. They're sweating. They're dripping. They're peeling their face off. They rush into the office and they said, "Hey, can I use your phone?" And I'm terrified. I'm 17. I don't know how to deal with this, right? So this meth addict is peeling their face off. They're peeling their face off like it's a Papa Meat video, like it's a Meat Canyon video. And can I use your phone? I said, yeah, sure. So I hand the phone. They're mashing every button on the phone. I don't even know if they've actually dialed a real number. So this meth addict, this meth head, is sitting in the office for the storage unit. I'm alone. I'm 17. And they get someone on the line and they're saying something like, "Hey, can you send someone over?" "Yeah, send someone. I just need help." "No, just send someone to help." And they said this, I kid you not, to quote them, they said, "Well, I just need someone to help. I don't know what to do with the body." And so they handed me back the phone, and I think I got like rubbing alcohol, and I scrubbed the phone down because half of their face came off with the phone. So I cleaned that. They walked out, and I think I locked the office, and I think I left. I think I just went home after that. I'm not sure if I went back to work for a couple days after that, but I think I told them I wasn't coming back. And that was one of my first jobs when I was 17. Anyway, I woke up with one of the songs in my head the other day. Rock on. That means I did a decent job with the soundtrack. 7 I appreciate what she does, but stuff just isn't getting any better. I mean, all I could ever ask for her is a two-story house, always. Wanted a second floor, really seemed always neat, just to simply have stairs. Yeah, we moved into a two-story house when I was 11 or 12. My family moved into a two-story house. It was so cool having stairs. Stairs are rad. The place I'm in right now is not bad. Much just the standard 80s mobile home. But at least I'm out of a mildly bad city. But the ants and spiders sure have some kind of war here. Oh man, I don't like ant season. Ant season is rough. Yeah, 7gen, what region is your Switch account? Let me know and I'll get a code. I'll get a download code for Guardians and Metal Exterminators for you if you'd like to play that. But yeah, like I said, Galaxy Bound Curse is a great entry point for the series, and Ghoul Busters is a great entry point as well. So let me see if there's anything I can share here with you guys. So my oh man, I still don't have air conditioning in my office. It's so very warm in here. Let's see. I don't have anything set up for on the DS. I don't have an emulator set up for that. music that's playing is actually, I've started on the soundtrack for Galaxy Bound Curse DX, which of course is the HD remake of Galaxy Bound Curse, and it'll be the first time it's officially released commercially, and that will be coming to the Switch. But again, unfortunately, I can't afford to work on Galaxy Bound Curse DX right now. I have to make smaller games which I can launch so I can keep my studio financial. Okay, so, okay, 7th Gen, can you boot up your Switch, go to the eShop and go to enter redeem code or whatever it says. I'm going to put your download code in the chat, and I'm just going to trust in the kindness and the goodness of strangers to not steal your download code. So I'm going to put your download code in here now. So boot up 7th Gen, if you could boot up your Switch and get to your eShop. I'll get you your code now. Let me see here. Okay, I've got your code. Let me see here. I have to do documentation to keep track of every single copy I give out. So let me go ahead and put your code in. This is for you. All right, I'm trusting in the goodness and the kindness of strangers to not steal that. And if you hang on, I have a bonus code for you. I've got Ghoul Busters as well, since I think that one makes an excellent entry point to the series. So you can go ahead and grab that for you. North America. All right, there you go. That's this is for 7th Gen. That is Guardians and Metal Exterminators S and Ghoul Busters. I think you're just going to have such a ridiculously fun time with Ghoul Busters. Like Guardians and Metal Exterminators is that's like a genuine. There's a lot to it mechanically, and then Ghoul Busters is just like silly, ridiculous fun. It's kind of like it's a platformer game, and it's one that I'm not going to say that I designed it to troll people, but there are some challenges where you feel immense satisfaction for getting past a difficult part, only for the level to throw something at you that just screws you over. In a way where it's like, if I knew that was there, I wouldn't have died. Kind of thing. It's never in a mean-spirited way, but I think it's just a fun way. Just like a, to me, Ghoul Busters was sort of like, how like your friends, you just sort of like give them a bit of a ribbing, you're never really mean, it's not mean-spirited, you just kind of like mess with your friends a little bit. That was kind of the approach that I took with Ghoul Busters. Just good fun, just a bit of fun. This is indeed a first from a developer, much appreciated. I don't think of myself, I don't label myself as a developer, I just label myself as a person, and that's all I am. And I think that you should strive to just be a good person, And if there's something that you can do to help someone, if you can make someone's day better, then you should do that. So, yeah, I don't label myself as a developer, I'm certainly not a YouTuber, I'm not a content creator. I just label myself as a person, And I think we all have a duty to be a good person. So that's really all it is. That's all it comes down to. I got the axe, man. I'm feeling good. I got a guy coming in hot. Oh, yeah, that fire was coming in hot. There will be health items as well. You will be able to collect some health items. You know, you can have a limited quantity, but I want where you can have some in your inventory that you carry with you. Hey, this is a decent score this time. Envy. Drell is always so kind with his fan base. I wish I had a Switch so I could play this game, although I have all of them for the 3DS and save space for the DS ones. Hey, yeah, the DS stuff I'm making, you'll be able to put on your 3DS. And look, this is exactly why it's so important to me to make Homebrew, because I know that not everyone will be able to access all of my games, and I know that it sucks when you can't get a game if you don't have the hardware, and so for me, making the games on Homebrew, it should make it accessible to everyone, because you can get an emulator on your phone, on your PC. Emulators are available everywhere, so there is no barrier to entry when it comes to this stuff, and it still has the spirit of Silver Falls. And yes, they are smaller games because I can't afford to spend that much time on these games, but it has the fun and the gameplay and the spirit of Silver Falls, and I think that's really why people like Silver Falls. Is it has such a specific vibe, a real spirit to it, you know. And no matter what the game is, the spirit of Silver Falls will always be there. You got Splatoon 3. Ooh, what do you think of Splatoon 3? What? Tell me what that's like. There's barely any sales or price drops on Nintendo games this gen. I know. It's a real bummer. Sure miss the 3DS and Wii U days, and the Wii and DS too. Grew up with the consoles, and Nintendo is way too expensive now. Everything's expensive now. It's not just Nintendo. Everything's very expensive. Like I don't have a PlayStation or Xbox because it's too much of a money investment. And I wouldn't even use it that much because I have to work so much. Ooh, this is one of the new tracks for Guardians and Exterminators. My goal is to live as long as possible because I'd like to hear this track. Okay, the bow is supposed to be stronger. I need to make the bow stronger. I don't want the gun. I actually prefer the bow. I think the bow can one-shot most things. I need to get back to the safety of the fire. Come on. So, in a future update, it will make it so that if you shoot an arrow through the fire, or if you or throw a stick through the fire, it will set it on fire and it will make it stronger. That's how it works in Undertakers. In Undertakers, if you throw a stick or a bow through the fire, it will become a fire arrow and a fire stick or a torch. I wanted to implement that here, but I ran out of time. But I'll add that in an update. So that's why it's so important to save out the fire. I want to make it to where one of the trap items you can pick up can be another fire, so that you can have another bonfire somewhere. I just want to live so I can listen to the music. I'm trying. I'm having a decent run. I need the fire, please. This is my game face, guys. I'm actually trying because I want to enjoy the music. I like this track. This might be my favorite track that I wrote for Guardians. Why, please? And the way that I mean, you used the word fan base earlier, and the way that I see it, like I don't personally myself, I don't use the word fan base, and I don't use the word fan, and I don't think of people as fans. I think if you do that, you are automatically and irrevocably putting yourself in a mindset where you view yourself as something to be worshipped. You view yourself as above other people if you say that they are your fans. It's one thing, it's totally different for someone else to call themselves a fan, to label themselves a fan of someone or something, but it's something entirely for you yourself to call someone else to say, you're my fan, you're my fan base, because you will start to view yourself as better than other people. You'll view yourself as a god, and you deserve to be worshipped. And it's sad that this happens so much, but it's just a common occurrence that you see. You know, all these content creators on YouTube and whatnot start out so humble, but you can just see them believing that they have become a god because they say, I have fans, I have a fan base. And so I will never, ever refer to other people as my fans. I will never say that someone is my fan or I have a fan base, because I don't. I do not. I have supporters, and that is different. I call you guys supporters because we are all equal. We are equals, and that's all it means to me. That's all it is to me. And you guys are my Silver Falls team. You guys help me spread the word about Silver Falls. You enjoy the games, and if it weren't for you guys, then there wouldn't really be a point to me making video games. So you guys are my supporters, but I would never refer to someone as my fan. You know, because I refuse to put myself in a position where I say that I'm above someone else. Which game specifically do you have out on Game Boy on GBC? I have Galaxy Bound Curse. It's available through the website. Go to silverfallsgame.com. I'll put the link. Let me put the link in the comment section. 1 second. I'm going to upload it to itch.io. But also, I need a remake of Galaxy Bound Curse. There's a few glitches because I made the game using an old version of GB Studio. GB Studio has been updated, and I believe that if I remake the game in GB Studio 3, the game will be better and have less glitches. But again, it's going to take more work, and Galaxy Bound Curse is a free game. And so right now, I have to spend my time on my commercial titles that I'm selling. And I've just launched 2 brand new homebrew titles, and I'm launching one more in another day. So right now I don't have time to remake Galaxy Bound Curse. Scroll down, and I have to do significant work on the website, and oh boy howdy, I just don't have time right now. Okay, I am putting a link in the comment. You can get Galaxy Bound Curse there, and it's free. Look, if I can get an emulator and play a game on the Vita, I'm probably going to do it, because the OLED looks so good. The colors, Duke. The Vita screen looks so good. Tim Allen, hey, good to see ya. Thanks for coming and hang out. I can't be bothered. Let's see. Hold on. Oop, I gotta scroll and catch it. Let's see. I sold my Series X to buy a PS2 and switched just to get away from the grindy, money-hungry gameplay of new games. Yeah, I'm getting burned out from like the AAA studio sort of situation, and how modern games they feel gross. They don't feel like they're meant for fun. They're meant for money, and that's why I really hope Breath of Thunder succeeds. I want to do everything I can to make Breath of Thunder succeed, because I want to show people what it looks like when a developer has set out to be great. I don't just want to make games. I want to be the greatest game developer and the greatest game designer that's ever lived. I'm setting out to be great. I'm not setting out to make video games, and that's why I know that I can make the games that I've said for all these consoles. If I say I can make Breath of Thunder for all these consoles, I know that I can do it because I set out to be the greatest. I don't know if any other developer is aiming for that. In general, developers are setting out to make video games. But that's not my goal. My goal is to not just be great, but I want to be the greatest, and I will be the greatest. So that's what I've set out to do. Pal World was honestly the only game I enjoyed on the console, even the new Lego Star Wars. Pal World was on it. What console was it? I thought it was a Steam-only game. Lego Star Wars. The Lego games are like guilty fun, you know. They're kind of like, you kind of know that they're all mostly the same, but they're still so much fun, you know. And it's really about the vibe of Lego games. You get to spend time and enjoy the world of a game, of a franchise. You know, I really like that. Um, you're on every console, baby. Rock on. I like to see that. You love to see it, you know. Just collecting old consoles is great, but being able to put a game and just enjoy it, especially if it's a game that you haven't played before on an old console, that's satisfying. That's fun. I failed at lumberjacking. Oh, life is so hard. Oh my god. Yep, got a power snap. Nice. Here's what's happening. I think the RNG breaks. I think it breaks a little bit. Sometimes. When the game runs too long, maybe? Alright, I'm going to get a power snack in here. Let's see. Dude got the right mindset. We should be equals, especially in the real world of society. Can't figure out how fellow humans would try to be higher than another. We are all skin and water and muscle. Absolutely. You're absolutely right, you know? I think you treat people with respect, even if other people attack you and they treat you like garbage and they're awful to you. It doesn't matter. If people are awful to you, you still treat them with respect because you have to show them a better way. You can't just retaliate. And if someone treats you poorly, you can't just retaliate and attack back, because how is that going to make things any better? I think just be the best person that you can, and, you know, even if someone's awful to you, you cannot lower who you are and what you are. Just be the absolute best you can to everyone. We should be here to make the best use of our abilities and talents. Yeah, I agree. You're right. You should try to be the best person that you absolutely can be. Figure out what you're good at. Figure out, you know, what you're passionate about, and reach for the best. You know, try to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Zelda N64 fan, gotcha. GB Studio has been getting a lot of great updates. That's what's so great about a homebrew scene, is when many people are getting involved, the homebrew tools will get more advanced and improved. So it's always great to get more people involved in a homebrew scene. I'm hoping with the Pokemon Mini I can sort of show people it's possible, and if this is something that you want to do, you can do it, you know, and get involved in the mini scene. I'm working on a virtual pet. I'm probably going to do a couple. There's one, I mean, this is kind of sad. One of the virtual pets that I'm making for the Pokemon Mini is sad adult. And basically, the virtual pet is a sad adult. And that's what it is. It's just an adult that has to deal with, like, adult things and deal with adult issues. And they are your virtual pet. Umbra just snapped. Home improvement. I didn't make a reference, you did. OLED isn't worth the $350 USD. Oh, that's expensive. I got mine close to launch day because I stupidly believed that Sony would support the Vita and keep making games. So that was my fault. But now I'm making a bunch of Vita games, so it doesn't matter. 7th Gen, you can be great. You proven you can be. You have crazy skills. Not many I seen have. I appreciate that. Thanks. Look, my long-term goal overall is to show people what is possible. I want to be the absolute greatest game developer. I want to show people what to aim for so that other people can see what I've done and they can aim to do better and they can aim to do more. And so I need to make sure that no matter what I do, it's always the absolute best that I can do. Because the next generation of developers, I want them to see what I've done and I want them to do better and do more. I wonder how those virtual pets with real-time clock will work on the emulator. It depends on the emulator. I think certain emulators, they can have the real-time clock sync to your machine clock. So, but again, it varies from emulator to emulator. I'm using Pokemon Mini, but I was obsessed with virtual pets when I was a teenager. No, I wasn't even a teenager at that point. I was probably 10 or something. They're the coolest. If I had a virtual pet here with me, I would probably have it sitting on my desk right now. But I'll make one for Pokemon Mini. I'll make a couple. I think OLED meant the Switch OLED. Oh, yeah, okay. Wait, the Vita still exists? Hey, TechnoJ, good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. We're just playing some of my homebrew games. I'm playing both of them at the same time. The controls are mapped to the same controller. I just thought it'd be fun to play both at the same time. Let's see here. Okay. Life is so hard. This is already... You know, in a way, Silver Falls Mini is already a kind of adult simulator. I just want to have fun and I'm failing at it, is what's happening here. Utter failure. Oh, I can't even tell you. What is going on with my stats? See, here's what's happening. When your happiness, friendship, and fun are low, you fail. Your failure rate on your jobs is very high, which is a form of, again, organic mechanical storytelling. That's something that I always implement in my Silver Falls games. I don't always implement it in my other games like Gorgeous Sword and whatnot, because organic mechanical storytelling takes an immense amount of planning and it takes a lot of creative energy to get it right. So I generally reserve that stuff for Silver Falls. So if your happiness, friendship, and fun are low, you have a significantly higher chance of failing at your job, which is how life works. Can you please succeed? Thank you so much. Thank you. Nailed it. Lumberjacking it. Hey, Injur G, good to see ya. Virtual pets poo too much. They are so high maintenance. Oh. Yeah. I remember when we were kids, we would leave our virtual pets with our parents. We would kind of say like, hey, can you take care of this for me because I can't take it to school? And then we would come home and then our virtual pets would be dead. And I think for a lot of people, that was like the first, that was like their introduction to the understanding that their parents are going to disappoint them. You know, because when you're young, you kind of think like, yeah, my parents are always going to like, they're always going to be, everything's going to be right, everything's going to work out fine. There's a shotgun up here, if you guys have noticed. It's tucked away, it's meant to be kind of like a secret. Okay. And I think for a lot of people, the sort of the leaving their virtual pets with the parents and then coming home to a dead virtual pet was their first understanding, you know, that your parents are not, they're going to let you down. Eventually, someday, your parents will let you down, and you're going to have to get over it. Xeno Cider looks good as a Dreamcast indie game. That sounds delicious, honestly. Don't know what it is. I do enjoy, like, I love going to apple orchards. Guys, so in California, Highway 4, you want to go on Highway 4 towards the mountains. Eventually, on the right-hand side, as you're sort of, you go past Murphy's, California, and on Highway 4, eventually you get pretty close to, it's near Big Trees, California. Highway 4 is an apple orchard. Oh, fantastic. They're not always open, but if they are open, you want to go in, you want to get a slice of apple pie, get some apple cider. Fantastic. I've been wanting to go there for years. I've been driving past it for years. Finally got a chance to get some apple cider from there. Maybe it's the best apple cider I've ever had. I put the apple cider in the fridge at a friend's house, and his former girlfriend slash housemate drank my apple cider, and I only had one glass of it. So I'm not bitter. You're bitter. Pet rock on Pokemon Mini. That would be funny. That would be the biggest troll homebrew, I think. Neomerge, I don't know what it is about YouTube chat, but I swear it always stops showing me new chats and I have to reload on mobile. Huh. Are you playing a pixel game? Yes, Indrajit, I just released this. This is one of my new games for Silver Falls. It's Pokemon, it's on the Pokemon Mini. You can get it for free. You can play this for free. It's on the itch.io. I'll get the link for it. Hold on, you can get both of these games. I should have put this in the description, huh? Where's my itch.io? Batoru Fibo. So I'll put this here. YouTube chat. In the chat. Here we go. Batoru Fibo. Alright, you can grab these for free. Hey, Lunar Knights! It's great to see you. I'm so glad you're here. The question is, what kind of apple is your favorite? I love Golden Crisps. So, I don't know if they have this in the States. Here in Australia, we have something called Kanzi. It's K-A-N-Z-I. They're this like massive, it's so succulent. Like you bite into it and then it drips. So it's like it's a driving apple. It's not a good driving apple. It's not a good walking apple. Because if you're walking or driving, no, absolutely no, you cannot. Kanzi is not a driving apple. Walking apple, you're doing this. You're doing this. You're leaning over because it's so succulent. When you bite into it, juice comes out. It's there's no tartness in the you have me. I'm getting fired up here because I enjoy the Kanzi apple so much. Trying to maintain my composure. It's a great apple. Oh boy. I do like a good Kanzi apple. Obviously I'll take a couple. My dad won't shut up about Pink Lady. That's not my favorite. I mean, I enjoy Pink Lady, but it's not my favorite. Golden Crisps are nice. You know, they're fantastic. Do people use those for cooking? I'm not sure. Is it Granny Smith that people tend to use for cooking? Anyway, there's an apple orchard in Australia in the Blue Mountains. You know, it's like an hour and a half from where I live. Oh, great! You get a box. I think it's like $10 or like something like that. $8. It's a box. It's this big tray. It's a tray of apples. When they're open, I go up there. I grab 2 trays and I just give out apples to friends and anyone that comes over. I enjoy a good apple. Kenzie, well, I never heard of that. It's in Australia. See, I don't know if they have it in other parts of the world or not. I don't know if it's a regional thing. 7 Jen, going to move to California around when I turn 18, actually, with possibly my future wife. So I'll keep such in mind. Hey, fantastic! Well, congratulations. Well done to you if you do move to California. If you need road tripping advice, I try to be a humble person, but when it comes to adventure, I'm quite proud of myself as an adventurer. I consider myself a professional adventurer. I give adventure advice. So if you're looking to go on adventures in California, absolutely let me know. Just send a comment, and I'll share some adventure advice with you when it comes to California. It's a point of pride for me. I know that you shouldn't have pride. You should be humble. But, man, do I love adventure. And as a professional adventurer in California, I make it a point to be able to advise people on adventure. So I'm a big adventure guy. Lunar Knights, yeah, I've been so busy. Lunar Knights, have you seen the Kickstarter? So I've started a Kickstarter for a JRPG titled Breath of Thunder, and that's going to be, hopefully I can bring it to legacy consoles, but it will be launching on the modern consoles, but I'm also bringing it to legacy consoles. That's Breath of Thunder, and then hopefully that'll stabilize the studio enough to where it'll give me time to work on the bigger Silver Falls games. This is for the Pokemon Mini, but you can play it on an emulator. And Lunar Knights, if you head to... How have you been? I haven't seen you around, Lunar Knights. Have you been at work? Is everything alright? You can download this game. I put the links on there. And if you need help, go to the Discord, Lunar Knights. And people in the Discord, the folks there will help you set up an emulator if you need help setting up the emulator. The knife frame rate is supposed to be faster, so, I'll make adjustments. It's actually really easy for me to work on PSP games now. I've developed a workflow, so I can make PSP games very easily. But again, it just takes time, and I have to spend the time making my commercial games. I've left the safety of the fire. I was gonna loop around. I didn't realize my health was so low. That was a bad run. 7 Gen, been great, needing adventure. Childhood was quite rocky, with much moving and events, and peers were not fond of me would be a good fresh start moving forward. You know, we all have different stages of our lives. You know, we all, and certain stages of our lives are rougher than others. Um, but it's getting through those rough stages in life. It's responding to those tough times in a constructive and positive way. That's what makes us a good person. That's what makes us better people, and that's called cultivation of the soul. And that's something that I'm so disappointed. That's not something that we talk about in modern culture as a cultivation of the soul. It's about experiencing and trying to become a better person, and constantly improving yourself, and dealing with hardship in a positive way that allows us to help other people who also face those hardships. And because you face hardships, I guarantee you will be a better person for it. You will be more sympathetic, and be able to support other people who also go through difficult times in their lives. I think the mark of a true person is someone who faces the most difficult moments of their lives and comes out a better person for it. They aren't bitter. They don't give up. They still try to be the best person they can be, and they are able to support and help people who also go through difficult times in their lives. I think that's the mark of a true person, is they don't let difficulty define them. They use difficulty in their lives as an opportunity to grow and become stronger. This is, okay, genuinely, this guy's one of my favorite characters in Silver Falls. And it's so fun writing every character, because every character has their own, from my writing standpoint and my workflow, every character has their own sort of in-house Bible on what they can and can't say, how they can act, how they behave in certain situations, the kind of abilities they can have, the move sets they can have, the stats they can have. Every single character in Silver Falls, even if it seems like they're a background NPC, every character has that. So that way when I feature them in a game, they feel consistent from game to game. It doesn't feel like a different developer and a different writer is handling these characters. Rauno is one of my favorite characters to write, because he came from Finland. He's got a totally different sort of attitude. He's so, I would say he's just focused on on getting the job done, you know, and he's sort of nonplussed, you know, when things get wild. He's just so nonplussed about things, and he's the kind to just sort of sit back and look at things and go, oh, okay. You know, if people sort of talk about well, there was these crazy cryptids, and there was all this stuff, there was this one thing that was like legs and it had guts coming out of it, and you know, if people were to describe that, Rauno's the character that would just sort of nod and go, okay. And to me, I think that's such a Finnish attitude. I think it's such a Finnish way to react to something, to respond to something as a, okay. So I really enjoy, because the other characters in Silver Falls get to react in what I consider an American way, and Americans are we're passionate. You know, we love things. We find things exciting, and we respond to them. And I think it's fun to put those characters next to each other. So I love putting those characters with Rauno, where their response to something is, you know, big, and it's like, whoa, man. And then Rauno's response is, okay. Hello, has anything happened here before? Yeah, we've been running the stream for a while, and I don't know, how long has it been running? Oops, I'm sort of looking at the other machine here. Let me sort of, okay, you know what, let me share a little bit of behind the scenes homebrew stuff and whatnot. Here, I'll get killed here. Okay. Let me see what I've got. What can I share with you here? So, it's the iconography of Silver Falls that builds consistency as well. You know, the sort of the battle sound effects, the shooting, the damaging the enemies, the sound they make when they get, you know, defeated and erupt into green clouds, the green dust, the sound effects for, you know, the user interface. It's consistent throughout the series, and it builds this sense of continuity. It feels like this is a place that you've been before. I just finished this for Breath of Thunder. Oh man, I've made myself laugh. This guy's so adorable. So you know how every RPG, a fantasy RPG, has to have like a slime in the beginning. You know, when you first start out in a traditional, like especially a classic RPG, it's you're starting out. You got to have some real squishy boys to beat up, get some experience points, get some gold, go back to the first town and buy yourself a bronze sword. So this will be the first enemy that you encounter in Breath of Thunder. He's a real squishy fellow, real squishy. Is anyone playing with my id? That might be a typo. Are you playing a pixel game? Yeah. This is pretty pixely. It's for the Pokemon Mini, and I put the link if you want to play this game. It's a camp simulator virtual pet with an RPG battle system. I'm starving. Okay, so I need Oxa to cook something here. Oops. Hold on. Let me get Oxa to cook something. I'm dying, Anakin. Nailed it. I've been thinking of trying to actually change the world in a huge way. Like, I've been getting fed up with current ways of living. I'd like to overthrow the U.S. government just to have people to be able to... Look, it's always important to set out to try to make the world better. You know, you should always, in some way. And I think you're on the right mindset that if you feel like things are bad and they're not what they should be and you want to make the world better, then I think that is admirable. And it's important that we should all try to make the world better in some way. Even if our reach cannot be huge, we can still in our own way, even in our own corner. We all have our own corner of the world. You can make that place better, especially for the people around you. Okay. That guy's so adorable. Oh, man. I was sort of working on it's tough. I'm working on the playdate. I was sort of sorting out the playdate. The playdate doesn't have, like, I can use flickering and whatnot on the Mini. I don't think I have access to that flickering technique for shades of gray. Like, that flickers so it has shades of gray. I don't have access to that on the playdate, so you just use, like, dithering. But that's wrong. That doesn't have dithering. I don't know why that has different shades in it. That's incorrect. That's not correct. That's not correct. So let me see what I have here. Let me. What can I share behind the scenes? Oh, Lunar Knights. In the chat earlier, people were saying, let's bring Pony Petter to the Switch. I think I'm going to do it. I think it's just for fun. I'll put it on there for $1. Mado, hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. Not going to lie, I accidentally clicked on your stream while watching your Breath of Thunder Kickstarter video. Two things. First off, how did you even port it to the Pokemon Mini? Second off, this game is effing awesome. Hey, thanks for that. I appreciate that. So, I didn't port a game to the Mini. This is made from scratch specifically for the Mini. Okay, this is a secret. I haven't told anyone. But I want to wait until I get the next version of this game out. But I am going to make a Switch port of the Mini so people can play it on the Switch. And it's going to have enhanced visuals. So what the visuals are, I'm not going to use, this is its own pixel art. The Switch version of Pokemon Mini is going to use the 3D models and 3D environments, but it's going to use a dithering technique. So it's going to make the graphics have 3 shades of gray. Actually, I might go to 4 shades of gray for the Switch. And then it's going to use a pixelation filter. So it's a lower resolution. So it'll be higher resolution than this, but still you'll notice that it looks like pixel art. And it's going to use a dithering technique. So it's going to look like hand-drawn pixel art, but fluid 3D graphics. So don't tell anyone, guys. This is between whoever's in the chat. This is a secret. Please don't tell anyone. But I am going to bring a version, because I know not everyone's comfortable, downloading and setting up an emulator. And very few people have a flash cartridge in order to put, the minigame on there. But yeah, that's yeah. So I'm working on that. So Lunar Knights, you head to the Discord if you need help. We'll show you how to download an emulator for this. So there's some of that again out, in case you missed it. There's always what I believe in is mechanical organic storytelling, and one example of that, say for example, is every character you can see their happiness, friendship, and fun. That affects their success rates in doing their job and their battles. And the only character who cannot increase their friendship and their fun is Bull. Bull Brandish always has zero friendship and zero fun. And if you've played the other Silver Falls games and you've spent time with that character, it's totally consistent. And like a modern Hollywood thing would have a character just say, "I'm not having any fun. I have no friends. I'm so sad." That's how a Hollywood script would handle it. But with organic mechanical storytelling, this is a more interesting way, a more engaging way to express that. Make a brighter and more connected and understanding future. Yeah, I like your attitude. It's great. That's great. I really admire that. And it's great for you to aspire to that. Let me catch up. Are we going to have a rare metal or gold variant of him that gives more EXP a la Drag Quest? Hold on. Yes, you're talking about the you're talking about the little blob enemy for Breath of Thunder. So, okay, guys. I'm working on a demo that for Breath of Thunder. I'm calling it a vibe check teaser so that people can do a vibe check. It's going to be hosted online, so you'll be able to play it in a web browser, but it will just let you explore. It's a small town. It's not going to be like a huge demo. It's just a teaser, but it's to show people what the vibe is, what the story is like, what the characters are like, and what the visuals are like. So I'm working on that. So when I finish wrap up with this stream, I need to go work on that Breath of Thunder vibe check teaser. So this enemy, he's called a Bloblin. Bloblin. So, in RPGs we tend to see variations of enemies throughout the game. So this guy, of course, he'll show up in different colors, but he'll actually also start using different things. Like he can wear different helmets to have variations. He can have different weapons, like a sword maybe, or a hammer. So the different variations of him will be carrying different little things. He's so adorable. I have to be careful that I don't make every enemy adorable. I think it's one of my weaknesses is making adorable something that's supposed to be threatening. I think I make it adorable. Yeah, I mean, you guys, we all hang out when we do live streams, and I'm doing the 3D sculpting for the Silver Falls monsters. I usually get to a point in the middle of the sculpt where it ends up very cute, and then I have to work a bit more to make it less cute. So I think that's just one of my weaknesses as a person. You have to live with those sort of things, But so I need to make sure that not every enemy in Breath of Thunder is adorable. I'll work on it. I'll try. Okay, let me see. What else can I show you? What else can I share here? Lunar Nights. I think we have 28 days left on the Kickstarter. Pony Petter Ultimate Edition for. Here's what I was thinking, and it is possible. Like I can do this. Pony Petter online, and you just see a live stream of everyone's score around the internet of Pony Petter. It's stupid. It's such a stupid idea, and I kind of think people would do it because it's so dumb. I mean, we all understand the appeal of Pony Petter, right? Like it's dumb and it's funny, and all you're doing you're poking a pony, and that's it. And that's the appeal, and that's all it takes. And I kind of think people, if I made an online edition where you see a live stream of like people's highest scores, I just feel like people would actually play that because it's just so dumb and funny. Technic Jane, if I was rich, I would so get the legend back out. I'm kind of hoping like a Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk type dude, I'm kind of hoping some millionaire somewhere grew up with the Jaguar or the Virtual Boy, and then they love that console and they want to see someone make a new game for those consoles. So I put some high tiers of support just in case there's a millionaire out there who wants a new, Jaguar or Virtual Boy game. Lunar Nights. Ah, it's great to hang out. Well, yeah, we haven't seen you in a while. All right, let me find some cool stuff to share with you behind the scenes. Let me see what I got here. Get my trackball here. Maybe Trip Hawkins will want a new 3DO game. Look, if Trip Hawkins threw a bunch of money my way, then yeah, I'll make a new 3DO game. I mean, someone via Kickstarter jokingly said, "Oh, I don't want to support it. There's no Neo Geo CD version." They were just joking, They said, "Haha, I'm just joking." They backed the project, and so I went and downloaded a Neo Geo software development kit. So now I have an SDK, and then I responded to the person. I said, "Hey, on your request, I found an SDK. I could make games for the Neo Geo if it worked into my schedule." I love all that old stuff. I love these old consoles just as much as you guys, And it's not like, I'm very clearly not faking it because I've launched stuff on the PSP and the Pokemon Mini in the last week. So I want to make games for every console. I will set out to be the absolute greatest game developer, and I absolutely will make games for every single console. Except for, the Hyperscan. I don't think I can make a game for the Hyperscan. Neo Geo Pocket. I have seen software development kits for the Neo Geo Pocket. It looks a little difficult. And I haven't had a reason to get into that because I'm already making homebrews for these kind of things. If there was a reason, if there was a demand, obviously one day I will make a game for the Neo Geo Pocket because that's my long-term goal, is to make games for every single console. Neo Merge, you have a Hyperscan. Mad respect. That is a significant amount of respect for you. I would like to try one. I would like to try a Hyperscan. Let's see here. I gotta look through here. Let me see what I got to share with you guys. So for anyone that hasn't seen it, so here's the logo for Face Takers. If you haven't seen it, we'll just get anyone caught up if they haven't seen Face Takers. This is coming to the Switch. This is quite a battle-focused game where you play as campers that are visiting Silver Falls. The enemies attack in waves, and you survive as many waves as possible. And how many waves you get increases your survivor level. So eventually the enemies will overtake you. You will run out of resources no matter how well you do. You will get overtaken. And your character will die. And when your character dies, the Face Takers will remove that character's face, and they'll take it, and they will wear that face. The game will generate a brand new camper for you with randomized stats, randomized equipment, and then you will start again. But depending on your survivor level, how well you do with your previous character, they'll leave behind some of their equipment, and your equipment might have skills attached to it. And the skills, if they're attached to the weapon, obviously will augment your character and give them enhancements and special abilities, special quirks. And so you want to get your survivors to last as long as possible to increase your survivor level so that they can leave behind their items and special abilities for the next camper that comes along. And then when you fight the enemies, when you fight the Face Takers, they will be wearing the faces of your previous characters that got killed. And that is Silver Falls Face Takers. It will be high score based as well. You're trying to get the best score possible, but also there's an element of trying to survive as long as possible so that your next score can be even better and you can have an even better character. Sometimes the game will randomly generate a pretty awful character for you, and sometimes it will randomly generate a great character for you. So that will be Silver Falls Face Takers. It will play similar to 3 Down Stars and Episode Prelude. It's using the same game engine. So that's Face Takers. Do I have any screenshots or weird? Oh yeah, here's some of the enemies if you missed it. We created, I think basically all these guys we created on stream. What a fun cast of, oh boy. So you can see they wear the faces here. These guys make me laugh. These are the Face Takers. There's a bunch of different kinds of Face Takers. They are their own family or like their own branch of cryptids in Silver Falls. They all do something different. These guys, I had so much fun making these on stream with you guys. Let's see, Neomerge. You were following the homebrew scene for a minute, but haven't checked in on it in a while. I know people were working on games, but don't know if they got anything. There is a Hyperscan homebrew community. I'm going to look that up after the stream. I'm going to look that up. I'm not saying I'm going to make Hyperscan homebrew. I'm just saying I need to look that up now. What is the best tech for long-term use? Android and laptops been not quite meeting my needs with modern budget offering. So I've been quite stumped to either stay with PC and Android or jump to Apple. I'm not a fan of Apple products. They just don't have my kind of workflow. Windows has the workflow that I need, but everyone's different. Everyone's needs are different. You might find that you really prefer sort of Apple's workflow and the way that things work. Apple's very aggressive with rolling out software updates to enforce product obsolescence. So there is planned obsolescence where it's like, let's use crappy components so that, you know, the laptop breaks, the phone breaks after a while. That's planned obsolescence. Enforced obsolescence is where a company forcefully makes your product obsolete because they've chosen to make it obsolete because they want you to purchase their new product. Apple is extremely aggressive with enforced obsolescence, so I don't agree with their business practices, and I absolutely refuse to use any Apple products. But you might find that you really like their products, their workflow, and their interface. You might find that you like that ecosystem. So I'm not saying anything bad about that. I'm just saying I don't respect their approach to bleeding people for money. Neomerge, there was at one point, people may have given up for Hyperscan. Oh boy, that is something. That is really something. Ramesses, any chance to get some 2600, 7800 homebrew? Absolutely, Ramesses. I have a development environment set up. I have a ROM that's in development right now that will eventually be Undertakers Game B, and it will run on the 2600. So that is coming. Let me see what else I can show you here. This was canceled. So I was secretly, quietly working on this for the Wii U, and I ran out of time to create Silver Falls Fitness because there was significant demand for white inside its Umbra, and so with the little time that I had to launch game on the Wii U, I chose white inside its Umbra, which meant Silver Falls Fitness got canceled. But there's so many references to fitness in the other Silver Falls games already. This is something that people have sort of expressed interest in. I may consider bringing this, but we don't know what's going to happen with the next Nintendo console. If something happens, it really depends on what Nintendo's next console is. I don't want to keep saying, oh, I'm bringing everything to the Switch, because I'm not making enough money on the Switch to justify bringing exclusive games to the Switch. You know, it's a overly flooded, muddy digital marketplace on the Switch, and so right now I need to focus on games that I can launch on multiple platforms. A 7th gen, I experienced planned obsolescence with the budget products, even ones for 300 USD. I've actually jumped into Apple for as cheap as possible, and from what I heard of them, they indeed are money. Look, the hardware tends to be good. The problem is they keep rolling out they forcefully roll out software updates that make your product worse. You know, they no longer allow upgrades to be had on their devices after purchase. Yeah, and then it means that you can't use your apps. You know, keep in shape while you run for your life from the flesh-eating forest monsters. Yeah, so I'm gonna share this. This is a secret. So there's only like a handful of people here. So this is a secret. I'll tell you a little bit about fitness. Is that it was meant to come across as, when you started out, it was meant to look like Wii Fit. You have a character who has actually appeared in the other Silver Falls games. You already know this character runs
a fitness company. He runs his own personal training company. So you've met this character in the other Silver Falls games. So when you see him in fitness, he's not a stranger. You go, oh, hey, it's the guy who was talking about giving lessons, one-on-one lessons for fitness. So when you first start fitness, it's that. It's doing a bunch of different exercises. It was going to use the Wii Balance Board, and you do some fitness exercises. It tracks your progress from day to day. And eventually, like gradually, cryptids would start showing up and attacking, and the way you fight the cryptids is with the fitness exercises. So now you're doing the fitness exercises, but there's sort of a timing involved with your fitness because you have to fight back the monsters. And hey, we're all getting fit. We're making Silver Falls safer. We're getting fit. We're having a great time. And that was meant to be Silver Falls Fitness. Of course, there's going to be code linker connectivity with the other games, so you can take your favorite playable characters from the other Silver Falls games, bring them into Silver Falls Fitness. So, yeah, I had to cancel that for the Wii U, unfortunately, but at least we got White Inside its Umbra. Let's see, Frontier Defender. Here's a game I want to make this game. I want to make this game so much. I want to make this so much. So this is going to be a Nintendo game. This is runs on actual Nintendo hardware, and there will be a Switch version, which will be expanded and has more to it. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil it, but this would be a Nintendo game. I have a ROM for. I don't think I shared it on the Patreon. I don't think I'm ready to share it, but there is a playable build. A little bit. I've got like a screenshot here, so it does run on the NES. But it's like I want to make sure the gameplay is interesting. I don't just want to make a generic side scroller, But there's so much more to the game for the Switch version. But I don't want to talk about this one too much because it would spoil it. So we go ahead and that's 8 breaks in time. I want to make. I would love to be able to work on this one. You had the 2017 tablet. Android phones have been okay for basic users, but past that, not so much. Android 14 has been a big headache. Yeah, I have mostly older Android devices now. I think about it. The advantages of Android are quite slowly being stripped away by Google. What is going on with Google, man? What is up with them? Yeah, I would still like to have removable batteries and whatnot, and SD cards. What is up, man? What is up, Google? What's going on? Ooh, let me show you a little bit. So in the future, I'll be working on a game called Super Silver Falls. And I've already done all the graphical tests and whatnot. So this is what Super Silver Falls will look like. And again, these are the bigger games. And it's very frustrating because I can't afford to work on these bigger games because I have to make smaller games to sell, to support the studio financially. So it's frustrating that I have all of these games that are like 20%, 30% through development, and I can't work on them. So that's a bummer. So this is Super Silver. I don't know if I've even shared this particular video with anyone, but I'll just share you. This is something that I've been hanging on to for a while. Super Silver Falls looks really nice. Thank you. This is, we throw the word around, Metroidvania around a lot, so I don't want to call it that. I'm going to call it a player search action game. Huh? So this is what I call a player search action game. There's going to be heavy RPG elements, of course, but the story and the characters of Super Silver Falls already exist. They exist in the series. They've been mentioned. Their stories are already tightly integrated. So and that's why I have so many unfinished Silver Falls games. It's not that oh, this guy can't finish one project. That's not what it is. in order to make sure all of these games are connected with CodeLinker, to make sure the stories and the characters are consistent and make sense, I have to make all of these games at the same time. So all of these games at minimum have to be at about 20% completion so that I can integrate them. And then I just have to hang on to them and not tell anyone about them. And it's so frustrating having something like this and not being able to share it with people, because I'm so excited to share this stuff with people. So this will be, I would put this on the Switch. I wouldn't be able to, it would be, I have a software development kit for the Super Nintendo, but something like this would take up so much time and effort to make on the Super Nintendo, and I wouldn't make any money out of it, which is a very bad position to put my studio in. So this one will come to the Switch, and I'm very happy with the end results. So yeah. Lucky emulation and sideloading app still works for the most part. Yeah, it's great that you can still put that stuff on Android. All of my Android devices are kind of old. They're like 3 or 4 years old. So yeah, as you can see on the sprite, I have real-time lighting. You have shadows and highlights. The actual, characters are responding to the actual lighting in the environment. And this is basically finalized. This is what the actual Super Silver Falls will look like. Let me see what else. What else do I have to share with you guys? Let me have a look. Oh my god. Okay, and of course we do have Silver Falls 64. Again, similar, in terms of planning, this is pretty far along, but it won't be an actual 64 game, because again, that would be extremely time consuming to make on the N64, and I wouldn't make any money out of it. So this will look like an N64 game, but I will bring it to the Switch, or likely the console that comes after Switch, because I probably won't be able to work on this for another year or two. This one's a lower priority, but the title screen kind of gives you, the logo kind of gives you the vibe of what it's all about. Let's see what I got here. Oh, you know what? Let me play this. I'll play the trailer for Road Past Guilt, just in case anyone hasn't seen it, right? Oh wait, hold on, let me turn the volume up. Okay, how do I exit out of the PSP game? Let me just... Okay, I'll pause that. I'm going to play... Do I have it? I'll play the... If I have the trailer for it, let me see if I have it here. I think not everyone has seen the trailer for Road Past Guilt. This is a game that I would be working on right now if my studio was financially in a position, because I need like 10, 11 months to make this. This is massive. This is a huge game. This will be the biggest Silver Falls game. And that's largely because it serves as... It's a sequel to all the other games in the series so far. And this will have the biggest CodeLinker connectivity. When you code link another Silver Falls game into this one, it unlocks an entirely new chapter in Silver Falls, where it's basically a sequel to the game that you've connected via CodeLinker in the form of a standalone RPG. I'm not sure if everyone's seen that. Let me see if I can just find the trailer here. I don't know. I'm might scrub through this and see.
I'm Jarrell from Sunburn, the director and developer of the Silver Falls games. With help from
Oh, it's
Nintendo
me.
and immense support from the Wii U and 3DS communities, we recently launched our final Wii U and 3DS games on the Nintendo eShop at the very last minute. Bring
Just
some
go
excitement.
forward. Let's just watch the trailer. Hey, how about I do... Alright, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, guys. I'm gonna react to my own trailer. Oh, dude, sick! What? Hold on. Where are my YouTuber glasses? Hold on. I'm a YouTuber now, guys. Oh, what? Crazy, dude. No way. Sick. What? What? Oh, dude. Check out those graphics, man. Oh, that's sick, dude. What? Dude, man. Whoa. Look at all those details, man. Wait, YouTubers are also on their phone while they're doing reacts as well. Oh, that's crazy. No way. Oh, man. Yeah, that's so sick. Whoa, cool. Oh, man, I can't believe that. No way. Am I YouTube reacting correctly? I'm on my phone. I'm not paying attention to the content. So I think this is the way you do a YouTube react video. Oh, sick. Yeah, cool. Swipe left. Swipe left. Swipe right. Swipe right. Swipe left. Yeah, haha. Sick, dude. Oh, man, I can't believe that. No way. Haha. That's how you... I did it. I'm a reactor. I'm a YouTube react channel now, guys. Okay, so I'm reacting. Oh, man, dude, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. No way. So cool, man. What? Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. Ah, that's crazy. Ah, that's crazy.
Games in the Silver Falls series can all connect to each other.
Yo, who even is this guy?
Regardless of hardware. Play
Go
with
back to the
characters
gameplay
and
footage. This is
from one
boring.
generation
Who is
to
this
another.
guy?
The Code Linker system has always brought excitement.
A suit and a tie. Boring. Go back to the gameplay. Alright, here's... Okay. Did you guys like my YouTube React channel? This was the announcement trailer for Road Past Guild. This will be a commentary track now. I'm still commenting. I'm still a YouTube commentator. I want the game to be gorgeous. I want it to be immersive. You're going to get to build your dream team of Silver Falls characters. There's a character creation system where you get to create your own avatar. You get to be in Silver Falls, so you get to create your character. You'll notice some familiar faces. Now what you gotta do is leave the video running while you make a sandwich. That's, you know, all the pro strats. There's going to be a massive amount of exploration. A turn-based battle system, of course. With all your characters. Lots of different weapon types. You get to fight a bunch of different cryptids from all across the whole series. Cryptids may even show up from if you use the code linker. These are in-game graphics. Of course, it's placeholder. I mean, to me, this doesn't look that good. The actual Road Past Guild will look significantly better. This is just placeholder. I just wanted this vibrant, living feeling to the colors in the world. I want it to feel like it's a beautiful place, because I think you need to juxtapose all the sadness and the darkness in Silver Falls. You need to juxtapose that with something beautiful, for it to really balance out and be something that people want to see. So, this guy's so boring. Oh man, get back to the video games, man.
Early on in development, so the actual game.
How do you get out of this?
Silver Falls Road Past Guild.
Yeah, that's Road Past Guild, and again, if my studio was financially stable and I could go 10 months, 11 months without having to constantly develop and launch new games, I would be working on Road Past Guild. Unfortunately, I have to basically launch a new game every single month. I have to do tons of marketing, and that stops me from making the bigger games, unfortunately. That's the reality of making games. What is a good Android and laptop? Look, I would have recommended black view like a year ago, but they're kind of awful right now. So, yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to go make myself something to eat. So, thanks for hanging out, everyone. It's been great hanging out. It's actually really fun. I'm just playing these homebrew games, just hanging out and chatting on stream. So it's been really fun. That's right. Battle Fever doesn't automatically save. You, just like every other game in the series, you have to manually save by going to the payphone. This is the save point in Galaxy Bound Curse on the game. So, yeah, I'd say any Windows computer, bare minimum 8 gigs of RAM, bare minimum, and you have to have at least 512 gigs of storage, because Windows will keep installing garbage on its own. It'll keep inflating stuff. I have no idea how to make it stop. It is a nightmare that Windows keeps inflating its install size. Over time, you'll just find out that Windows has taken up your whole hard drive. So, minimum 512 gigs of storage on your laptop, minimum 8 gigawatts of RAM. All right, well, we'll go ahead and wrap this up now. It's been a lot of fun hanging out, everyone. It's been great. I desperately need to eat some food. So my real life hunger level is pretty low. I need to figure out why that's happening. That shouldn't look like that. So let me go ahead and I gotta fix that. Shouldn't do that. 7th gen. You use Linux because of how bloated Windows got. It's the bloat. It's Windows bloat that really just ruins it for me. All right, it's been great hanging out. Thanks, everyone. And please, if you can, reach out to like, go to your favorite YouTubers, your content creators. Tell them about the Kickstarter. Tell them about Breath of Thunder. Go to any Discords that they focus on certain consoles, like people that really love the Jaguar or the Dreamcast or the Virtual Boy or whatnot. Just go to those communities. Tell them to check out the Kickstarter campaign, because if we do get to those checkpoints, those stretch goals, you guys know that I can do it. You guys know that I will do it, and I will do it in a very timely manner. So the difficulty I'm seeing is so many people see the Kickstarter and they absolutely do not believe that someone is capable of making a game on all those consoles. And it's so weird to me. It's like cognitive dissonance, because to me that's very easy. In my head, doing that kind of thing is like, this is so easy. Why are people saying it's so hard? And I only think that because I work so hard. I work nonstop. So my frame of reference is so different from everyone else's, because all I do is work, which is kind of sad in terms of work-life balance. But maybe things will be better. If the Kickstarter is successful, I won't have to work 130 hours a week. So thanks, everyone, and please keep doing what you can to help spread the word about the Kickstarter, because it's going to take a massive effort. It's no exaggeration to say that I'm doing my absolutely everything to make this work, but I can't do it by myself, and I absolutely can't do it without all of you guys, and without you helping, without you spreading the word. We're not going to succeed with the Kickstarter. So, will Face Takers have a story? No, Face Takers will be light on story. It's just mostly action, and that's to appeal to people that just want some fast action. Every game should have a different appeal. The other Silver Falls games that are launching around Face Takers will have heaps of story. And so that's why it's all right for me to create and launch a Silver Falls game that doesn't have that much story. But it does have lore, and the lore is very important. Again, I believe in organic mechanical storytelling, and that is very prevalent in Face Takers. The mechanical organic storytelling is so important. That's one of the most important things about the game. So, all right. All right, it was great to see you, Luna Knights. Great to see you, everyone. Technojade, 7th Gen, Neomerge. Great to see everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for taking the time to spend time, and thank you for helping spread the word about the upcoming Breath of Thunder and the Kickstarter. Take care, everyone. It's been great to see you. We'll see you again soon. Take care.